What's up, everyone? Welcome to the WAN show. Luke, I can't believe it finally happened. I'm in the news for something positive.
For a good reason.
Yay!
I will say, reading just the beginning of the sentence when I learned that it happened, of like, Linus is in the news again, I was like,
Luke, it's not me under fire this week.
But no, it was good.
It's everyone else.
You know, we've both been in the news for the same reason in the same country.
Yeah. With you, it was the hotel thing. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the aftermath of the random Taiwanese mall PC, including apparently there have been interviews with the shopkeeper and with the kid who won it. That's pretty cool. I've been sequestering myself, so I haven't heard too much about it, but we're going to be looking at some of the information about it on the show this week. What else we got this week? There were some major departures from Donut Media, which I figured there was some stuff we could talk about there. Yeah. There's a lot of parallels between our journey and Donut Media's journey. What else we got?
I definitely have two things that are ready to go. Live service games use fake randomness and fake Facebook friends and fake other friends to manipulate players into spending money.
Literally, they put their like gullibility crosshairs on you. Literally.
Yes. They're like, wow, that person's profitable.
They'll buy anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we've got a really important LTTStore.com
launch today. Why do you present it that way?
Oh, okay, we'll get to it later.
They'll buy anything and then...
Okay, but this is really cool.
My goodness.
You don't even know what it is yet.
If you want something that isn't cool, the Internet Archive lost in court, and Paramount deletes 2 decades of Internet history.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the show's brought to you by AG1, Ahrefs, and UPDF. Also, don't forget about our chair partner, Secret Lab. Hey,
you
nice.
You still can't read mine, but you can read his.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we jump right into our first topic? That was so much fun shooting that video 2 weeks ago or whenever it was when I was over in Taiwan. Where is our... Oh, do we not... Is it not like in the doc?
The video itself?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. No, I don't mean the video. I mean, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, Taiwanese media appears to have picked up in a big way the video that we recorded in Guanghua Digital Plaza.
Super cool place.
We visited if you haven't seen it, we visited just a random computer shop in the mall. We made our decision based on who had the coolest PC in front of it.
It was pretty cool, so it was a good choice.
And we asked them to build us a PC for $5,000 to see what they would come back with and how it compared to an equally priced system from Main Gear, also with hardline liquid cooling. The system they gave us was absolutely sick. Like, the builder freaking nailed it in pretty much every way. The only thing that I would say that they didn't quite get right was the memory configuration. And I'm very disappointed about this because Gary from the lab pointed out that in the video, when I'm troubleshooting the memory speed, that it won't apply Expo. We apparently cut out the part where I said, hey, AMD has trouble running 4 DIMMs at maximum speed, so I doubt Expo is going to work. So a number of people thought that I didn't understand what the issue was. I did, but it wasn't really the point of the video. The point of the video was that the solution was to pull out 2 sticks, or ideally the solution would have been to configure the system, if you really want 64 gigs of memory, with a 2x32 gig kit in the first place. So I stand by everything I said in the video. I still dock some marks for that, because I would not want to run a Ryzen 7000 system at 3600 megatransfers per second. But it's also, it's not that it was broken. It's just that there was a performance penalty to configuring it that way. Everything else about the system, dude, did you watch the video by any chance?
I watched the whole thing, actually. It was great.
Did you see how he packed the GPU original cooler? He put every screw back in exactly the place it would need to be so that when it's time to reassemble that thing,
super easy.
I'm ready to do it. I have never seen that before. In fact, I'm trying to think back because we secret shopped some competitors like way back in the day when I was at NCIX. And we got some water cooled systems in. I don't even think they included the original coolers. Like,
yeah, I doubt it.
Even like all the accessories and manuals and stuff like that, you can't take that for granted when you buy a fully integrated system necessarily. But he included everything just like the system would have been if I was an enthusiast custom builder and I built the system myself and I had all the pieces that came with it. I was so impressed by the build. Rather than trying to bring the PC back to Canada, though, which would have been a chore, we decided to give it away to the first person that recognized us on the street, which wound up being a Taiwanese junior high student. At least one media source did interview him, and he said that in addition to gaming, he wants to use the new computer to edit videos and experiment with LLMs. This wasn't in the video because we had wrapped by that point, but we went to the bakery that we were headed to, and then on our way back, he was still on the corner, and his mom was there. And she made an offhand remark about how he better use it for studying, which I thought was the funniest thing ever. Not just gaming. You also better use it for studying. So good.
Of course. Such a classic mom comment.
One of the shop's social media accounts posted about the video saying it was around 2 a.m., so I got him back.
That's okay. If you watch the video, that's actually a fun close the loop right there.
He because there was such a high level of personalized service. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is, but like here in the Western, in Western culture, I don't actually like giving my phone number to people when they ask for it, because hotels will ask for your phone number and then they'll like text you incessantly, and like I'm worried they'll send me offers and
back?
stuff. Yeah. Whereas with this guy, I didn't even mind. He's like, yeah, I'll add you online, which means he doesn't need to have my phone number. It's just like a social media.
You could just delete them.
Yeah, it's just like a messaging app, and the conversation was so smooth and just. I really
Clearly
liked
there
it.
for transactional.
Yeah, it didn't feel skeezy. It just felt like it didn't feel like he was collecting my data.
He asked you if you opened it and set it up because he's probably curious, like, are you happy with it? Does it work? Those types of things. That's
where I was getting to. Because he had me on an instant messaging app, he messaged me at 2:30 in the morning, the night that I took delivery of the system, being like, hey, like, is it going great? And I'm like, brother, it's 2:30 in the morning.
To be fair, and I think you pointed this out in the video as well, if I bought that system on that day, I would probably still be up at 2:30 in the morning.
And I did tell him, I don't know if this made it into the cut, but I did tell him I had like a gaming event this weekend, and that's why I like needed it this weekend. Like he put on the gas to get that system to me, because I mean, Yvonne asked him, I don't know if this made it into the cut either.
Custom parts.
But yeah, he's building like 3, 4, 5 systems a day in there, and that system is not the kind of system that you build 4 of them in a day. I don't care what kind of PC building god you are. Like that takes time. You could build maybe a couple of those in a day if you're really good. Anyway, so I got him back because this is from the shop's post. It was around 2 a.m. and suddenly I was bombarded with phone notifications. I wondered what earth-shattering event had happened. Oh God, it turns out that guy I met is a huge deal. I even apologized to him and said I didn't recognize him.
Oh, did he send you another message online?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. It's so funny.
I didn't know this part. That's funny.
Yeah, no. Here's what he said. I mean, I don't care, man. Like it doesn't. I don't need the ego stroking.
Well, part of it is that video wouldn't have worked if he did recognize you.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So
he
it's
didn't.
actually great that he didn't recognize you.
Yeah, no. And again, that didn't make it into the cut, but I talked about that. I talked about how important it was and how much fun it was being able to go incognito again for a change. Like. It ruins everything.
Yeah. When any of this type of content that we try to do is rough.
If people are just like, hey, Linus, well, then you're not seeing what the shopping experience is supposed to be. You're seeing how
that doesn't mean to hide it, by the way.
Yeah.
Because often we can tell anyways.
Yeah.
And it's the whole point is that it's supposed to be an authentic shopping experience.
Yes. And so it was really fun to be able to go incognito, man. It was great. Anyway, hold on. So I did message him after I took delivery, and I said, the system's great. I made a review video and I'm going to upload it in a week or two, but I didn't tell him who I was. I didn't give him any context for it. He goes, oh, really? Can you send it to me? I want to post it on my Facebook. And the number of like conspiracy theories in the comments about how like, oh, fake. Your bullshit detector's not working. So you need to recalibrate. The guy
I don't
just
think
didn't
there was
know.
that many of those comments.
There's enough. And I'm speaking to those people. Just chill, just relax. So I go, okay, I'll send it when I'm done. He goes, thanks, dude. And I go, my video's ready. I send it to him. He goes, shit, dude. 100 people is telling me this. Sorry that I really didn't recognize you. And I go, no, it's better that way. Thanks for the amazing system. You made the young man who won it very happy. Everyone is saying, WTF, man, you don't know him. And he said, thanks for your trust, which I thought was really cool because he really did, in good faith, build me the best system for my money.
Oh, it was killer.
I didn't even compare to like what I could have gotten just buying the parts on Newegg and assembling it myself, because I don't even really feel like I have to. Knowing sort of approximate... No, that was a good value. It was a good value. And if they took a little bit of profit margin, then they should.
I know a few people that live in Taiwan, and I've heard that it's actually pretty common to have people like that build your system because they warranty it really well.
Right.
And he even said in his video, like, yeah, my warranty's a year or whatever, but if you have problems in 2 or 3 years, just talk to me.
Awesome.
Super cool.
Trust me, bro, guarantee. And you know what? I actually trust him.
Yeah.
Because I've said 100 times, a warranty is only as good as the willingness to fulfill it. That is just a fact. And even though he seemed legitimately confused when I asked for an invoice, I'm not even kidding. He's like, oh, yeah, I get it. He literally pulled out a pen and paper.
And just like wrote it?
To write me an invoice for the system. Like it wasn't even itemized or anything. I'm like, you obviously have no system for this. And this is like not a thing you do, very clearly. But frankly, just based on the interaction, my level of trust with him is extremely high. And I believe that if that young man who won the system were to show up there and like say, hey, there's a problem with this, I'm sure he would deal with it.
Yeah.
100%.
Chewy, by the way, said that he did follow through. He posted it on his Facebook.
Nice. And but he says, actually, okay, yeah. Okay, I hope you get some really great business from this. He goes, thanks so much. I hope it isn't too late to subscribe to you now. Yeah, of course not. Have a good night. He goes, keep in touch. If you need me, I'll be here. Trust me, bro. By the way, can I cut part of your video? I was thinking to post on TikTok. So, you guys will have to go check out his TikTok. I guess he's going to do that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, what is it? Do we know?
I basically just said, sure, just add some of your own thoughts, reaction video, go for it. And then he goes, yeah, hey, the news wants to put it on TV. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So, anyway, I apologize to him. After watching the video, I'm grateful he agreed with me on how particular I am about the product. I did agree. And man, I don't think... I have built some good systems myself. I've seen some really nice showcase builds at trade shows and stuff like that. I've hung out with...
He could absolutely do trade show quality builds.
I've hung out with 100%. Very experienced modders, like Bod and Rob from BS Mods and stuff like that. Did I say Bod and Rob?
I don't know.
Bob and Rod from BS Mods. I think that his bend precision was on par or better than the best that I've ever seen. And it's little details. That U-bend
crazy
was peak. Probably the only person that I would say, hands down, could probably do better would be Charles from Murderbox. And Charles would probably take 4 days to do the one bit. No offense, Charles, if you're watching this. I love you, man. But you know that what I'm saying is true. So I have so much respect. But yeah, he goes, the pipes must be neat and tidy. Taiwanese media described the video as an excellent representation of the country and its dedication to the world of technology. And I mean, honestly speaking, it's not like I've ever actually lived in Taiwan, but I've definitely spent a not insignificant amount of time there. Like overall, I've been there for probably like somewhere between a month and a couple of months. And I just have nothing negative to say. I love the people. I love Taiwan. It's a beautiful country. Super, super awesome. And it was because of my past experiences in Taiwan. Do you remember the first year we went when we left a tip in that restaurant?
Yeah, and didn't they try to give it back to you because they thought you forgot it or something?
They didn't just try to give it back. The lady in this just hole-in-the-wall mom and pop restaurant that we had no idea what it was. And it was not a significant amount. Honestly, if I'd realized how, because it was my first year there and we had a lot going on, if I'd realized how little I was leaving.
This was our first foreign trip. We weren't that used to currency conversion stuff. And
like we know, but like just weren't thinking about it. If I'd realized how little I was leaving, I would have left more. Like it was an insignificant amount of money. And like really just like keep the change kind of thing. Like it wasn't a big tip or anything, but we just left it and we were like, okay, thanks. Bye. Dude, she ran. I don't know if you remember this, but she ran.
I think I do.
A city block.
Fully remember.
She ran a block out of her store to return it to us and would not keep it. And look, you encounter one nice person somewhere. That doesn't tell you anything about a culture, right? But it's just been so consistent. And being in Taiwan, I believed, like I didn't want to make a video about getting ripped off by a little shop, right? Like if I'm trying to set a video up for success, that's not the narrative people want. That's not the outcome that I want. Of course, I would report honestly on whatever outcome I got, but I like to stack the deck in my favor, right? Like if I have a pretty good idea that a mega corporation that has a history of skeezy behavior is going to rip me off, then I know what the framing for my video is going to be, and I know that people aren't going to be too upset about that. Whereas if I'm in this mom and pop shop and I think they're probably going to rip me off, I don't want to set that up.
Yeah.
There's a chance it can happen. I think Keith could have given me a better deal on some things. Anyway, there's a chance that can happen, but that's not the narrative that I would write for the video if I could write it. So with all my experience in Taiwan before, I had so much confidence that I was going to get an awesome system that I wrote that intro comparing it to main gear with a pretty good idea in my mind
what the result was
that they were going to cream them.
I've spent a little over 3 months in Taiwan. I just did a quick little notepad math calculation. I feel safer in Taiwan than here. Taiwan is actually ranked the 3rd safest country in the world.
It feels safe.
Completely believe it.
Anyone, old man, young, vulnerable lady. I mean, we've walked sometimes like an hour in a given direction, like going out for noodles.
Through alleyways at 2 a.m.
I never feel unsafe. And it's not like they don't have societal challenges like anywhere. It's not like they don't have people with substance abuse or mental health problems or whatever the case may be. But I never felt unsafe there.
No. Everyone feels like they're on the same team.
And everyone's like, and sorry, to my point, like old men, young women, they're out all times, day and night, just walking and being alone.
You go down an alleyway and you end up just finding like cool coffee shops and stuff instead of getting sketched out. Like
so that's a whole thing.
Different vibe.
That's a whole thing. Apparently, they like work really hard to make it so that little shops make sense.
Yeah. It results in a really cool vibe because no part of the city really feels the same, and you don't have like, oh, this one store takes up like an entire city block. It's like all these little ones, and in my opinion, it results in shops like the one that you're talking about, where you have this really specialized expertise. Like I remember going through that mall in, I think it was 2013, and finding like a store that just specialized in discs.
Nice.
Like CDs and DVDs and whatever else.
And nice.
It's like, the heck?
And to be clear, it's not like they don't have chains. I mean, you can literally hawk a loogie from one Family Mart to the next Family Mart to the next Family Mart to the next one. And you'll run out of loogies before you run out of Family Marts. Yeah. Same with 7-Elevens.
And then they have another one, I don't remember the name of it, that's more common in the South. They're just everywhere.
Oh, which one?
I don't remember the name of it. It's like a red and blue
logo,
whatever. Yeah. basically the same thing.
Anyway, it was really cool to see the news media pick up on it. I had a ton of fun making that video. I would love to do more stuff like that. I need to find a way.
Those ideas, you can't flow them every single day.
Yeah, I know.
Be sick if you could.
I mean, with that said, I think we've had some videos lately that kind of deserved a little bit more attention, but didn't necessarily get it. I think we've definitely had some challenges kind of breaking out recently, but the way I see it is when everyone kind of, clues back in and is like, oh yeah, let's like watch LTT again. There's going to be a ton of really great videos to watch. So
the My Wi-Fi is better than yours video. Maybe the title and the thumbnail could have been different or something. I don't know, but that video was really good.
Yeah, that one's actually doing pretty solid. We just had some ones before that kind of struggled a little bit. I think that factory tour in Taipei deserves twice as many views. That was freaking awesome. The way that they gave us access to everything.
The GPU factory one?
Like, yeah, you really saw how a GPU gets manufactured. It was really cool. And they held back nothing. I love that kind of stuff.
That's really cool.
Yep. Yeah, Power Color Tour. All right, do we want to move on to our next topic?
Yes.
No. Because instead, I have been so excited about this for so long. Luke, we have quite possibly
I don't know what this is.
The highest impact launch that we have ever had on LTTStore. Okay?
Because
this product is going to drop like no other product.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Go ahead and open it up.
Impact and drop being fairly keywords here.
Okay, you want to be on the other side.
What? Oh. Well, there's nowhere for me to... Okay.
Yeah, move it up a little. You guys are probably wondering why I don't just do it myself, because it's way more fun to give it to Luke to do and then micromanage him. What's that?
I can't even see it. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Can I say what do you call it?
Yeah. Do you want to set it up? Let's play.
Sure. How do you get it out of here without smashing? Just turn it over?
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's figuring it out, folks. He's figuring it out. Okay. This, my friends, is no, do not use that J word.
I was gonna.
Do not use that J word in my chat.
Okay.
This is GPU Crash Tower Game.
It sounds like a mobile game knockoff.
You can buy more blocks for $4.99.
It's definitely a knockoff of something, but it's not a mobile game. GPU Crash Tower Game.
Clash of GPUs.
Is fun for the whole family. Each GPU
6 unique designs.
has one of 6 unique designs that, get this, cover all 6 sides. Dude.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
Our cost is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Look at the quality. Look at the quality of the laser engraving.
I definitely know.
Hey, that's not how you pull a brick out.
I was trying to inspect the quality.
That's not how you pull a brick out. Pull a brick out.
All right, okay.
Pull a brick out properly.
I don't know the rules of Jenga.
Excuse me? The rules of GPU Crash Tower Game?
Clash of GPU Tower Game.
People are saying one hand. Also, once you touch it, you're committed.
Okay.
Wow. What a pussy.
What?
Takes out a middle block. Pfft.
Take out your middle block.
Ayo?
Oh, wow.
All right.
I'm just going to leave that how it is.
No.
What? Oh,
I put it up top? You're supposed to put it on the top. Well, you're supposed to look at it first, but now you've put it on the top, so now we have to... You can't take it back off!
I just did. What are you going to do about it?
What is wrong with this guy? What is your problem? Also, you're not holding it where the people can see.
Oh my goodness. Can you even?
How's the quality, though? What do you think?
Why?
Do you have eyes on the side of your head?
It seems nice.
Dan's giving you some zoom. Is that all the zoom you got, Dan? All right. Well, the quality is outstanding. There, I'll just say it.
Yeah. I don't know how to evaluate, like, that quality, but it seems nice.
Well, you made
Seems
my
good.
life easy by putting that there.
I sure did.
Right. GPU crash tower game, folks. Man, we have been working on this one for way too long. We went through so many suppliers to try to find someone who could not just achieve this level of brick quality, but was willing to do it. Because we engaged with at least, it was one or two, I can't remember. We engaged with for sure one. Dang it.
How did it stay up? What the heck?
That sounds like a you problem. We engaged with at least one supplier, probably two, that were just like, no, I'm actually not interested in making this product.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like such a pain in the butt.
To do the printing on every side?
To do the printing, to make sure that...
How much worse was it to do printing on, like, I feel like if you had a similar, how do I say this? The long faces versus the sides. If you just did the long faces instead of the sides, like adding the sides, I feel like probably added a lot. Is that true?
Yeah, maybe. Some of them, it looks like, don't have anything on the side. I think that's probably because that GPU cooler design doesn't really have anything on that side. But yeah, Lloyd did the designs for all these. Completely non-infringing designs, not based on any real GPUs.
Yes, of course.
Oh wait, sorry, I'm not allowed to check things. Which one was the first one that I hit?
Clash of you.
I don't remember anymore. I'm going to say this one.
Yeah. Is this the most like anti-fall clash of GPU game ever? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What do we do? No way!
I don't know. I guess I got two pieces.
What does that mean? I feel like the rules are being bent here.
I feel like that's a you problem. All right. No problem. That's fine. I got this. Boom.
Wow.
Boom. Wow, indeed.
Wow.
Right there.
Wow.
Right there, buddy. I have no idea how this is...
Still standing?
Yeah, exactly. How can I break the rules of a game
Go for
that's
a risky one.
literally, only exists on LTTStore.com? I make the rules.
Do you have... There's no
of
rules
GPU
in
tower
here, eh?
crash. The rule is...
So it's completely house ruled.
It's your turn. Quit stalling.
There are no rules in the box. It's completely house ruled.
Got him. Linus plays this like a bull in a china shop. Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? As long as you don't knock it down, it's actually advantageous for it to be as precarious as possible. Oh my goodness.
It's over.
No, you got this. You got this. Well, I mean, yeah.
Can I just do the Linus maneuver and just pick up any extra ones that come out and just put them on the top? And
That might have been a structural block there.
Here, I'm just doing Linus things. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
No, it's fine.
What is that? Oh man.
All right. I have lost clash
Anyway.
of GPUs.
Hope you guys check that out on the store. It's appropriately $69.99. Yes, I know this is very expensive for a tower crash wood block game, but the quality of them really is outstanding. We really did put...
They are actually, like, now that I look at multiple of them, they are quite identifiable.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
like,
no.
I know what card this is.
No, you don't.
Oh.
They're totally designs that we came up with.
Yes.
Yes.
Extremely unique.
Yeah, extremely unique.
I definitely have no idea.
I mean, I doubt anyone would get
what
mad at us
this
about
is.
it, but we definitely took some inspiration.
No.
Anyway, it comes with a really nice wooden box, and it's lots of fun because, it's that very similar to another mobile game that you've probably played before, made of beechwood, high definition laser engraving on every piece. Like, guys, look at this detail. Look at this level of detail. This
Yeah.
is real world graphics right here.
I was going to say, that's probably actually better than the camera zoom in we did, because that's what it looks like in real life.
All right, so if you guys are looking for something to pick up on the store to send a merch message this week, that would probably be a good bet. All right.
Very satisfying.
What do you want to
wood
do?
sound.
What do you want to talk about next?
Donut?
Sure. So, major departures from Donut Media this week. Two major hosts, Jeremiah Burton and Zach Job, have left the brand to form their own channel, Big Time.
Great name, by the way. How did they get that?
Well,
How did no one have
they
Big
did and
Time?
didn't.
Oh.
So, like, their website is bigtimebigtime.com.
Oh, yeah, and their Instagram, I think, is at 3 times.
Yeah,
Big Time,
so,
Big
like,
Time, Big Time.
you know.
But how did they get the YouTube channel Big Time?
Because
Because the website, like, who cares? I don't know that many people that manually navigate to websites these days.
That's fair.
I don't think short URLs, like, matter anymore.
I think it's a great name.
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome
Fantastic name.
Anyway, in their explanation about their departure, Jeremiah and Zach said that a turning point in their relationship with Donut was its increasingly corporate attitude, its gradual move away from passion projects, and its emphasis on growth above all else, particularly after Donut was bought out by private equity firm Recurrent Ventures, who also owns several other automotive channels. They expressed feeling disheartened by pitching creative, fun ideas and getting constantly turned down by their business-focused leadership. Likewise, according to Jeremiah and Zach, they were promised equity in Donut at some point, but received no financial remuneration from the sale to Recurrent. Their departure was featured at the end of a recent, it says 2 million view video, I think it's up to almost 3 now, where they mentioned that they will still be seen. Sorry?
I'm talking about, that's my notes.
Oh, that was on Donut's channel.
That's on Donut's channel.
Got it. So it was
so Donut themselves, not so obviously there's the announcement video on Big Time, but at the end of a video on Donut, they let Zach and Joe actually talk about the announcement of their channel, and they linked it in the description.
That's actually pretty classy.
Yeah. That's why I wanted
cool.
to include it, because it sounded like it was all like, meh. And
They
I don't think it was like that.
They also linked to Big Time's first video in the description. I do have to wonder, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I do have to wonder a little bit if perhaps in order to maintain an amicable relationship, Big Time pulled some punches on their departure video. I feel like
it didn't really feel like it.
But I gotta wonder. I guess what I'm saying is, I wonder if there's like even more they could say. Because it seems,
I don't know, because there's still like another thing that wasn't in the notes, but I watched the video. At the end of the Donut video, not the Big Time video, at the end of the Donut video, when they're announcing that they're making Big Time, they also point out that they're still going to be hosting on Donut.
I thought that was just because they they'll still be seen as something. Is that just stuff that's not edited yet, though?
I don't think so. So based on how they said it, it sounded like, hey, yeah, there's some things that aren't edited yet. They're going to come out that include us. And the video after the next video features at least one of them, but I think both. And then I just don't remember. I haven't watched the whole thing.
They're finishing out their contract. Okay, there you go.
That makes sense.
So it's clear that both sides are potentially
still trying to play ball to a certain
degree. Trying to play ball with each other, which I think is a good thing. But I got to say, this is something that I've wondered about a lot, because as you guys know, there was an offer to purchase our channel from a very let's say a private equity firm. Let's say that
Clash of
what? Basically, they specialized in acquiring media companies, both website and YouTube, and I got a lot of assurances that nothing would change, and all that stuff, right? And as far as I knew, things were still going great at Donut until all of a sudden things super weren't going great, and basically I was reading about this. So it really makes me wonder if it was as simple as I'm not able to pitch my ideas that I think are really good, or if this has been brewing a little heavier for longer. Because when did the acquisition happen? Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
It's been a while, and that's something that's been pretty interesting to me, is that a lot of the what is happening? Did we have extra blocks here?
Yes.
Oh, a lot of the fan reaction that I've been seeing is like, okay, so just to be, right on the nose about it, they released a video immediately after the video that they announced. Okay, things get weird because it happened on both channels. The video that they announced that they were splitting off on the Donut channel was called "We Put an $8,000 Body Kit on Our $500 Ranger." That video with 2 million views, at the very end of it, they announced that they're leaving. Mm-hmm. Then it links in the description to the other channel. The next video on Donut's channel is the "Is America Ready for Chinese Cars" video.
Yeah. That
video is covered in, I guess this is the influence of the company stuff, which, you know what, it definitely might be, but we've seen this happen with the internet a lot.
We've seen this happen on our channel a lot.
They hear something happened, and then they're like, oh, this change that happened today is because of this thing for sure. And it's like, guys, they were bought out a long time ago. Like we said, probably about 2 years or something ago. Like, this isn't new. And like, yes, that video might be because of contacts or whatever that this company has, and they got some sponsorship deal for it. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, Donut was acquired over 3 years ago.
Over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So the change that happened the next upload, that's like that jump, the one video to the next video, is not what happened.
There's apparently another video from behind the scenes editor who worked at Donut that was more critical.
Can you pass me the front?
There you go. Yeah, November 2021.
And yeah, like I'm not surprised it's not going necessarily perfectly.
And I'm not saying that the hosts in the video, because people were saying like their delivery seemed kind of flat, like they seemed uninterested in this Chinese car.
Yeah.
That they were doing like a sponsored video on. And I'm not saying that they were super enthusiastic. It's quite possible that they weren't especially enthusiastic about it. I'm just saying that I doubt that this change is occurring overnight in the same way that it might feel like it is, because the news is breaking right now. I don't know. I know enough to know that we don't know enough, if that makes sense.
100%.
Like it is very clear to me that the stories we're getting are part of the story.
What I know for sure...
And I don't mean that in like that they're being dishonest or that they're like misleading us or that that's a bad thing, that it reflects negatively on their character. That I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying it's very clear that, okay, kind of like when we left NCIX.
Yeah.
And we still had a contractual obligation. I didn't have an NDA that said I can't say, or I didn't have a non-disparagement agreement is more like what it would be, which is also an NDA. I didn't have a non-disparagement agreement or anything like that, but obviously it wouldn't be in my best interest to be like, yeah, NCIX fucking sucks and like their leadership is super dumb. And I didn't really talk about the structural issues with the leadership until they were dissolved as an entity, and I no longer feared any legal repercussions, right? So I do kind of wonder if we're going to hear a deeper version of this story at some point in the future, is all I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah, another thing that I want to point out is that personally, I believe that the comments that people are making under the videos condemning Donut, basically, is not helpful if you would want to see this type of thing again, because Donut was actually very cool about letting them have that shout out in the end of that other video and linking to another channel that is not under Donut in their own video. Like, allowing that to happen was very cool. And I think the coolness of that is being significantly overshadowed by people just crapping all over Donut, which is unfortunate. I'm also super excited about Big Time.
You might say
their first video,
big time excited.
Yeah, true. Their first video is sick. The Fixing My Abandoned Project Car, Big Time, awesome video. There's some stuff like man, what is it called? It was like 100 hours in Brazil. Donut. This video, I spent 100 hours in Brazil's underground car scene. That video is sick. And then I spent 100 hours in Australia's underground car scene was also sick. And that feels like the type of content that they were describing that they want to keep making. So like I'm very excited about the big time stuff. I just think you should be aware of the impact of audience comments on the relationship that they still have and the possibility of this type of thing happening in the future if this is something that you liked and wanted.
I have another thing to say to the big time folks.
Yeah.
You need to big time reply to your emails.
Yeah.
I reached out to I want to sponsor big time.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to send over some screwdrivers, sponsor a video or maybe a couple videos, maybe a series.
Dude, I'm so excited about big time.
Let's go.
The second I heard this announcement, I was like, yes. Yes, please.
I'm very excited.
Let's go. Yeah.
So I want to hear back from you guys. Go check your inbox. Make sure that your website contact form works. It's one of those things where like, you know, you set up like a Squarespace site or whoever's powering it.
In this first video from Big Time, which I'm sure you haven't seen because it launched like today, at one point in time, he's like, the camera guy looks at one of them. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, trying to save the business." Basically, he's just on his laptop. Like, I think this is legitimately very fresh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
And they're in like, we got to make this work mode. So and honestly, two massive personalities start a new channel that already has 1 million subscribers. Like, they probably have a lot of emails right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but still, reply to mine.
Reply to his.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Gonna be sick though. I'm really excited. I think they came out swinging with their first video. Apparently it's number 3 on trending right now. So they're killing it. Big time.
I am glad we didn't take the acquisition offer.
Yeah.
It's been an extremely turbulent period since the acquisition offer. There's been times that I've looked at it and I've gone like, I would be out at this point, you know, but that doesn't help anyone else in the team. That doesn't help the audience. I don't think that is helpful to the tech community as a whole. So I'm at peace with it now, seeing this especially. I think this was trying to think if there have been cases. Donut was honestly like the case of corporate acquisition not being the end of a channel that I thought about when I was thinking about whether to accept the offer or not. And I think maybe the conclusion just is that it's not possible. Maybe it's not possible for a channel to keep its soul. Can you guys think of an example of one that survived a corporate acquisition? And I mean, we haven't seen...
It's been 3 years. They're still dropping 2 million view videos. They survived.
They survived.
I'm not saying everything's peachy. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
To me...
Sounds like it's not perfect to at least be a writer/host there.
I wouldn't... Okay.
I haven't seen the editor's video. I don't know what else is going on.
Yeah, it's tough because
someone pointed out Smosh. They didn't survive the first one, but they survived the second one.
Yeah, but they also weren't corporate
They're doing
bought
great
out.
on the third one.
They were bought out by Mythical.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Like, come on. That's not... Like, yes, Mythical is a corporation, sure. But it's also... Yeah, they're... Okay, Theorists... That's still too fresh for me.
Super recent, yeah.
Yeah, it's super fresh. I don't know. And when I say survive, I guess I'm talking about like the soul surviving.
I don't know if the soul is dead from Donut. I feel like people might be going in too hard. Again, it's been going on for 3 years. People weren't really pointing this out until now.
That's true.
I'm sure on the writer side, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's gotten worse on the writer side. More sponsored content, more of your passion projects not being able to go through, all that type of stuff. What they said in their video resonated a lot, made a ton of sense. But the channel itself, I'm not talking about the experience of working on the team. I'm not talking about any of that kind of stuff.
Fair.
The channel itself has been doing well the whole 3 years.
That's fair. That's fair. And you know, it's tough sometimes too, because sometimes you'll have someone pitch a project, and I'm speaking from personal experience as an owner of a YouTube media organization, right? You'll have someone pitch a project and you're looking at it like, guys, that doesn't make sense. We can't do that. And on their side, they might feel like, well, this is something the audience would love and something that I'm really passionate about and all of these things that, I can hear these guys saying. And I'm kind of sitting here going, okay, well, yeah, but that might make sense when you're doing it on your own channel and you're working 14 hours a day and, understanding that you're not going to be paid for a lot of those hours, but within an organization that has to have a proper overtime policy and has to have proper paid time off and has to have all of this overhead and all of this administrative burden. It wouldn't have made sense, because while you're looking at it going, well, this is a great idea and I could do this in 2 days. It's like, yeah, sure. If you spend those 2 days in a feverish working state and do and see absolutely nothing else, yeah, sure, that could make sense. But that's like 28 hours and I can't afford to have you out of commission for, that period of time not working on other things. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We can't have a camera operator following you around like that all hours of the day. Like, think about some of the stuff that we used to do back in the day, like that Fallout bomb build where you and Brandon were here after midnight 2 days in a row getting that video done.
It was sick. I'd do it again.
I know.
Hell yeah, brother, let's go.
But part of growing up as a company is not asking that of people anymore, right?
You didn't.
I know, but
I totally did it behind your back.
Yes, I know.
Sorry, I'm just messing with you.
But also not expecting that of people, right? So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see how Big Time does. I'm just generally really excited about, people in the YouTube space, like starting cool stuff. And this just seems like there's a lot of really good energy around it and I want to support it. There, that's all I really have to say.
There's been a bunch of comments in Floatplane chat trying to point out to me that the channel still doing well doesn't mean that the culture behind it and stuff is still great. I just want to make it super clear that that's why I drew the line between the two. I already knew that. I just like you have really no idea what it's like there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to point out.
And one employee is not enough for me to go, yes, that is the 100% truth. Two is still honestly not enough. You don't know the whole picture.
How many people work there?
I think it's like 40-ish. Yeah, so the only way that I think I would be able to really tell what it really is like would be to work there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the thing
the only
I
way
know
to tell
for sure is I'm super excited about Big Time. Everything else, honestly, I have no ability to impact, and it doesn't matter. Just go watch Big Time. Enjoy the content. It's going to be great.
Yeah, more is not more better. Or more is not more worse is what I was going to say. Just more car content. Can't complain. I mean, it's there's a whole sea of viewers out there. There's enough of them for both Big Time and Donut to continue to exist.
Yeah.
Long Linus says humble PC would not happen on bot LTT. I don't think that's true. We have been
humble PC.
Yeah, that was that like crazy build we did with like $5,000 worth of fittings or whatever it was.
PC? Oh, that one.
Yeah,
okay,
the humble PC.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous, just memeing.
Yeah.
And no, humble PC would happen on bot LTT. That one we didn't lose money on that. However, excuse me, sorry. However, Kettle's response. I don't know about humble PC, but April Fools definitely wouldn't. April Fools wouldn't. We lost so much money on our April Fools video.
Chance. Also, just time, opportunity cost.
Oh, dude,
my goodness,
dude, huge, absolutely huge.
Once there's shareholders, the show is dead. Shareholders exist. This company has shareholders. This is what I'm saying. It's like a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people know what they're talking about when it comes to this, which is fine. But just be careful about the anger that you're projecting, because it might hurt things that you don't want to hurt. That's all I'm necessarily saying, unless you know what you're talking about. And pretty much none of us do. I'm including myself, which is why I'm saying all I know is I'm excited about Big Time, because I don't really know what's going on, but I'm excited about Big Time because I watched two of their videos, which is the two videos that they have, and they're both great, and I'm excited about more. That's it. That's all.
Oh, we're supposed to explain merge messages.
And if you know what, if it blows up completely and everyone quits in 2-3 weeks or something, then we'll know.
That'll be a solid indicator.
But I don't know right now. We might know real soon, or we won't. I have no idea. That's it.
think that'll be a solid indicator.
Yeah. And it could happen. Who knows? We've seen this type of thing happen before. Didn't it happen with SourceFed?
SourceFed imploded more slowly.
Okay.
It was a very, very slow self-destruction. They basically just lost momentum, and kind of death spiraled.
And then everybody bumped out.
Yeah. There was a pretty major exodus of their primary on-screen talent that did happen pretty close together, but I don't think there were really any allegations of it being like an awful workplace or anything like that. I think it was just one of those cases where what exactly was it about SourceFed that made them have to be on that channel? Mm-hmm. Nothing. So they just didn't, and they went and did something else.
If it does go down, something I would be interested to see is if like other people try to join big time, or if it turns into like a bunch of smaller car channels, or if some people just exit the scene. Like seeing how it goes down would be very interesting. But it also just might not, or it might. Who knows? I don't think speculating on that right now is all that interesting. I'd rather just watch big time.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, merch messages are the way to interact with the show. Merch messages, all you got to do is go to LTTStore.com, put pretty much anything in your cart, and there'll be a little box that pops up whenever we're live. You could leave a merch message. It'll come up like this at the bottom of the screen, where Dan will either reply to you, he'll just pop your message up there, he will curate it for someone internally to respond to you later, or he'll curate it for me and Luke to reply to you. So we're going to show you a couple of those to give you some idea of how it works. And Dan, hit me.
Sure thing. Let's see. I've got a couple here for you. Any status on the Luxe backpack or original batch? It's several weeks past the original shipping estimate, but haven't seen an update on any WAN shows for a while.
As you can probably imagine from the dual layer and failed carabiner fiascos, our relationship with our backpack supplier is a little fraught. With that said, you should absolutely be getting an update, and I will find that out for you. Or Dan, if your workload's not too heavy, could you maybe fire an email over to Nick and see if we could get an update for next show?
Can do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
For next show, okay.
And do you want another one?
Yes, please.
All right. Cat.dll. Have you always been a materials snob, quote unquote? Thoughts on why? I didn't have much when I was young, but now that I'm doing well, I hate wasting time or money on subpar. But now I get analysis paralysis.
I don't know that materials snob is the way that I would describe it, but I do definitely appreciate something that costs twice as much and lasts 5 times as long. So if that's what you're saying, then yeah, I think part of it is not having much when you're young. When you don't have much and the thing that you have like breaks or doesn't last, it's so much more memorable and it's so much more impactful. Whereas I think you can tell really easily when something is built with an eye toward longevity, and I can see how that can become something that you appreciate. It's definitely something that I appreciate. One of the early revisions of this packaging for GPU Tower Crash game had a problem where if you actually look at the top corner there, do you see how there's a spot where there could be a little nubbin? Yeah, right there. So there was a little nubbin there that would break off too easily. And so we actually redesigned it to not have the nubbin and then have the top have like a different shape so that there's no nubbin there. And the nubbin was cool because I forget, it allowed it to, it was because the top would go in and then the front slid down and held the top in, and that was cool. But then we did it the other way because it was more durable. And so you have to really give thought to things to make them last a long time. And it's just something that I appreciate. And yeah, I think part of that is from growing up and not having a ton.
Yeah. You want what you have to last.
Yeah. One more, Dan?
Sure, why not? Let's see. Hi, wan.dll.exe.rar.zip. I've recently been checking out new cars and ensuring they support Comma AI OpenPilot driving assistance. What are your thoughts on open source self-driving or assistance devices?
What keeps happening? I've wanted to do a video on Comma AI a couple of times, and we just haven't gotten momentum for it a couple of times. I don't know. Matter of time, I think. What was one of the delays? Yeah, we were gonna install it in my van, but it wasn't compatible because it doesn't have like a lane keep camera. And then I think we had actually discussed doing it in Andy's van at some point, but then he didn't end up keeping his minivan. And then I don't know. We've kicked it around at least 3 times, and then have ultimately decided not to make a video about it. But it's absolutely something that I would like to do. Maybe I'll reflag it for myself to bring up in writers' meeting, and maybe we'll get that going. Okay. All right. Do you want to pick a topic, Luke?
Sure. What else do we have in the main topics? Oh yeah, live service games use fake randomness and fake Facebook friends to manipulate players into spending money.
This is wild, and also the most expected thing ever.
Oh yeah. According to a recent article by indie developer Adrian Laurent, predatory live service games have developed a suite of insidious tactics meant to manipulate players into making purchases that go even beyond dark patterns and aggressive microtransactions. These games are collecting information on player behavior and then algorithmically adjusting the game's difficulty, loot drop odds, and microtransaction pricing in order to extract as much money as possible by keeping players within the frustration zone. The frustration zone is a thing that we heard recently about Tarkov as well. For example, if a player, not that Tarkov does exactly this, but they use it for other means. For example, if a player is advancing faster than expected, they will get worse odds for random drops, and the game will become more difficult than it is for other players. If the player is a habitual big spender, they are less likely to be offered deals on microtransactions, and may even have the difficulty and prices jacked up specifically for them. In some cases, the price of the same value microtransaction can be several times more expensive for certain players. It feels like geo-blocking prices, which is normally done so that countries that don't have as strong of currency and GDP and stuff can still afford to buy and play your game, is being used in the opposite to just make it worse for everyone, which is kind of epic. Laurent points to Nexon, the Korean MMO dev that was fined $9 million for manipulating loot box odds to optimize player spending earlier this year. But he likewise says that manipulation of randomness to coerce more money out of players isn't a problem specific to Nexon, but rather a normal practice within the live service gaming industry.
That's
which
wild.
I'm adding this here. This is not what this person said, but which is probably why when you see live service games fail and they feel like they failed because they were a live service, the company makes the next game a live service anyways. Is because they're looking for that loot box of their own at the end of the rainbow. While this practice is extremely common, the sheer number of variables in a typical live service game make it extremely difficult for a player to tell whether they're being manipulated or simply the victim of bad luck. It also makes it incredibly difficult to prove, given that many publishers are not transparent about their drop odds or even lie about those odds.
Yeah, man. It reminds me of the gambling websites that sponsor streamers and literally give them money to gamble and then manipulate it so they win.
Yeah. Wild. Further, Laurent says that some live service games are using bots posing as real players or even falsely posting a Facebook friend as the player in the high score board. Both to make
a Facebook friend of the player in the high score board.
Yeah. Both to make the player believe that they're performing surprisingly well before jacking up the difficulty, and to create fake rivalries, which is going to push people more, especially to spend money, naturally, because you want to be better or at least competitive with your friends. If you feel like you're falling behind and you're trying as hard as you can, you might be more incentivized to spend money. Yeah, it's rough. Mr. Lawrence suggested solutions for the problem. What can we do about it? As a player, be aware. Understand that randomness in games is often manipulated and personalized. Investing money might not give you as much of an advantage as you think, and be aware that your game experience can differ significantly from other players. 2, if a game studio you once cherished starts using predatory tactics, don't expect it to revert to its previous ethical standards. The developers who oppose such tactics have left or lost their influence. If a studio backtracks due to backlash, they may often just try to hide their tactics better. Some people also might not have left or lost their influence. They might just care more about money now. Support ethical studios. Choose to support game studios that align with your values and stay true to your own values. As a developer, advocate for transparency. Transparency is crucial for healthy studios and games. Manipulating randomness to include elements players would disapprove of is a slippery slope. And 2, challenge unethical practices. Monetization stakeholders do not have a monopoly on ethics. If a tactic conflicts with your values, it is fair to openly challenge it.
There's a lot more in terms of like legislative solutions, but
yeah,
I mean, that's
it's rough. I'm super not surprised.
Yeah,
this is often we often go pretty hard in the paint on the whole microtransactions thing, and some people don't like it. This is a large part of why, though. Like, you are just straight up being manipulated. Yeah, if it's a free game, you played a bunch, you want to support it, you buy some skins. That's one thing.
This is just so
this
sleazy.
This is a completely different level. Yeah.
And you know what? I do wonder sometimes if part of my, well, just don't buy it attitude is that I grew up in a different time, right? When this wasn't normal, and now that this seems normal, people are more easily susceptible to it.
Yeah.
Like the amount of money some of these mobile games are printing is
crazy,
unfathomable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable sometimes.
Also didn't understand how popular mobile games were, and then trying to take public transit more often has revealed how popular mobile games are. It's all over the place. It's crazy.
Candy Crush, as of September 2023, had reached over 20 billion in lifetime revenue. With a B. Billion.
Candy Crush specifically, not King?
Yeah, just Candy Crush.
Wow.
Candy Crush Saga.
Why are we making YouTube videos?
Yeah, really.
Dan, we're making YouTube videos because we didn't think of that.
Ugh! Luke, this is your fault.
That is true.
This is your fault.
That is true. I'll take the blame for that. Yeah. Yep. That's true.
Also, we have integrity.
Integrity Farms. Let's go.
How could we have integrity?
I mean, I don't know.
Waste of time.
As soon as you say you have integrity, you've already lost the game, I think. But
now everyone lost the game.
We're just, not that game.
No, Luke, you can't do that publicly.
Oh, why did you do that?
I got so many people right there.
What a low integrity thing to do.
Woo! That might be one of the biggest. That's pretty big.
Anyway,
pretty big.
The reason that we don't use...
Oh, I got you all.
The reason we don't manipulate people in this way is because we don't believe it's right. That's the answer to that question. The reason we don't sell anybody's data, that we have plenty of people's data, through the forum, through the store. The reason we don't sell any of that is because we don't think it's right. That's simple. You know the other reason?
Why?
It's not necessary.
Yeah. We're doing good.
You can make plenty of money.
We're doing good.
Operating an ethical business.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I'm fine. We got 100 employees.
More than that.
Yeah, I've lost track. That's why I just say 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep it simple.
Yeah, you just say over 100.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it doesn't really matter much.
The point is that you don't have to. So that's what saddens me about this kind of thing, is that they don't have to.
Yeah.
So why?
I mean, because it's quick, probably. I suspect a lot of these, it's really hard to make a game that actually like catches on and people actually play. And then once you do, if you were never in it in the first place for the art of creating a game, which I think a lot of people are, but if you weren't in it for that reason, you're just trying to cash out, you know? And like people work at those types of companies for a reason. They want the money. They want the dollars, man.
Corey, as the name says at Linus, as a small business owner with integrity, I can affirm that I'm nearly out of debt. Heck yeah.
Nice. Good job.
Do
Keep
it.
going.
Do it. Go hard.
Pre-congrats for when it happens.
Yeah.
That's big.
Heck yeah. I'm not yet, but working on it.
Yeah, but
I
that
have
is aggressively your fault.
I have been multiple times. And then every time I'm just like,
giant lab and a badminton center at the same time.
let's go all in again, boys. It's just kind of my thing.
My goodness.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not there yet. Come on.
All right. What are we supposed to be talking about? Oh, sponsor spots. No, let's do them. The show is brought to you today by AG1. Power up with AG1 this week. Well, you're battling through the new Elden Ring. You might fail at killing Mesmer 100 times, but AG1 won't fail you. It's a one-scoop cheat code for your daily vitamins and nutrition. Unlike other supplements that only reference research from specific ingredients, AG1 is backed by multiple research studies on their whole formula. They were done by third parties in double-blind environments, as well as being placebo-controlled. They've also shared the results of the studies on their website, so you can see the potential benefits of adding AG1 to your morning routine. A few members of the LMG team have tried or even drink AG1 daily. It has a mild sweet taste with hints of pineapple and vanilla. So try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/WANshow. The show is also brought to you by Ahrefs. Is your online business feeling lonelier than you do on Valentine's Day? Oh my God, that's so mean.
Dan.
Why did Dennis do you like that?
Did you know?
I mean, valid.
Oh.
Okay. Because your business is getting drowned out on the internet, no one can find it.
That's why I'm sad.
You can boost your site's foot traffic by enhancing SEO with Ahrefs' webmaster tools, and it's free. The process is simple. First, use Site Audit to crawl through your site for the overarching issues that are holding it back. Then use tools like Page Explorer to dig through the details with advanced filters to see what's working well and what could use some help. Next, use Site Explorer to research organic traffic and make sure your site is making proper use of keywords. You'll even get access to the world's largest index of live backlinks so you can see where your clicks are coming from. So go to the link in the video description and improve your website's SEO performance for free with Ahrefs' webmaster tools. I'm still not recovered from that. That was like, I was like collateral.
Secondhand.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point is that, I don't know. Take shots. It's fun.
The whole point is the show is also brought to you by UPDF. UPDF is a simple PDF solution for all your needs. They're not just the easiest. They're just not the easiest things to make changes to. We've all experienced that before. But UPDF can transform you from an angry, frustrated man into someone who has love in their eyes again. Oh, wow, that's terrifying. That's horrible.
Using a Mac and reading about jazz music?
The clean UI is easy to navigate so you can get your work done. It can handle PDFs across all platforms, Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. And all you need is one UPDF account for up to 4 devices. Not only can you edit text with UPDF, you can also modify images, watermarks, links, backgrounds, headers, footers, and more. Plus, their AI features can help improve your work efficiency. You can summarize, translate, explain, rewrite, and ideate your documents all in UPDF, and it comes with cloud storage of up to 100 gigs. Check them out at the link in the video description. Hey, speaking of AI stuff, we didn't get the dance pictures for one of our daughters. Like, they do portraits and stuff, and they give you previews. They actually gave you digital previews, which is unusual, but with massive watermarks all over it. Dude, AI watermark removal, so good.
Not that you did that.
I don't know what you're talking about. But AI watermark removal is a super cool thing that exists. Very cool. Man, can I just talk about how frustrating it is to me, the policies that photographers will have around not giving you the original files when you hire them, like for a specific photo shoot?
Really?
It actually makes me legitimately furious. And
what is that about? Why is that a thing?
It's a thing. So I can tell you the artistic reason.
What is that? Yeah.
So the justification that will be provided is that that's not the completed work. That it needs to be retouched before, it's suitable to be looked at, and it's a reflection on their artwork. If people ever see the raw file that's been, done in a way that they wouldn't have approved of, then it's not their real art, and therefore they don't. But obviously, it has to do with that they don't want you to have the raw file and do it how you would like to do it.
You'd have to pay for any touch-ups. Is that why? Any changes and stuff? I just why?
So that you don't have them.
But what if they just charged you for the modified version?
The modified version?
Whatever, the edited version, the touched-up version. Because I'm assuming they're shooting in whatever.
They'll shoot in RAW, yeah. Typically. Well, no, they charge you for that. But even paying for that, I've offered to pay an additional fee to just give me the raw files, and I've been turned down almost every time. Yeah, I have absolutely no. Yeah, Avulsion says, my senior pictures for high school had the saturation and sharpness absolutely blasted by the photographer, and I was like, please just give me the raws. Yeah, it makes me extremely angry. It's
art, you're wrong.
It started with them selling prints, yeah. So it's basically them controlling the final product that you get, and putting you in a position where
I could totally understand them saying, you have to buy the edited version if you want the raw. Copyright. The photographer owns the copyright. So what?
I don't care. It's a picture of me. It's a picture of me. Like if you want to, and literally I'm hiring you to do it. So write a new contract where I own the copyright of it because I hired you to take this picture. Like,
he's saying he'll pay an increased amount of money. Yeah,
it's not really something that I think is reasonable. And if you don't want to do it, then by all means. I just don't really understand how this has become a norm. Mm. And if you want to, take a picture on your own time and own the copyright for that you aren't being compensated for, then by all means, if I want to buy it from you, I guess I have to pay you for a print. I have to pay you every single time I want a copy of it, but you didn't. And the rate at which you are charged for a private photography shoot is such that, no, I think you own the pictures. Like, no, man. Right. You got to be kidding me. Yeah. I've definitely run into chill ones. So people are saying, raw files are proof of copyright to the photos. Okay, well then, then charge me more and give me a contract where I own the photos that I paid you to take of me. Like, I'm not talking about photos that you took on your own time of some artistic subject or whatever.
About not compensating them for the work.
Yeah.
Neither of those things are being discussed.
It's just, it's like my face. So, no. Anyway. Also, that doesn't make sense. Zorg666 says a raw file does not establish copyright. That's not how copyright law works. I could see it being used as evidence.
But if you just both have it?
RGB86 says, just because you paid for them to be taken doesn't mean you own the copyright. That's not how it works. That's why I said, write a new contract where I do own it. That's why I say things that I say and the way that I say them. It's really important to pay attention.
Chat's been rough today.
I know. They're trying. They're trying really hard.
Okay. Should we do another topic?
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
What about this Korean telecom thing? Because I saw this in the news and then immediately knew it was going to be in WAN show and didn't read it on purpose. But it's interesting.
Sure.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, hit
Korean
me.
Telecom intentionally uploads malware onto its customers' computers. KT Corporation, one of South Korea's largest telecom companies, has reportedly intentionally infected over 600,000 internet users with malware in retaliation for their use of torrents. The problem was first noted in May of 2020 when WebHard, a Korean cloud service provider that uses peer-to-peer file sharing, began receiving a wave of user complaints that WebHard's program wasn't working, and in some cases, their PC had shut down entirely. WebHard determined that every affected user was a KT customer. WebHard reported the matter to police, who determined that this was the result of a malware attack originating from KT's data center. So far, 13 individuals have been criminally charged in relation to the affair, though the investigation is ongoing. KT and WebHard have had past legal disputes over the latter's use of peer-to-peer file sharing, which saves WebHard a lot of money in server costs, which KT claims causes additional strain on its network. KT was previously caught throttling torrent traffic, including WebHard, which resulted in a court case that was decided in favor of KT on the grounds that WebHard didn't pay KT network usage fees for its peer-to-peer system and didn't explain to its users how the grid service works in detail. Therefore, the court determined that it wasn't unreasonable for KT to block WebHard's network traffic. Interesting. One thing I will say before people start jumping on different things, as has been discussed a couple times this stream, there's going to be things about this that we don't necessarily understand. Clearly, there's people that have been criminally charged, and you can't just put malware on customers' computers.
Yeah.
But the part that I'm talking about is this whole, like, maybe WebHard should have to pay KT for network usage fees. If I remember correctly, South Korea does work that way.
Right.
So, like, that might sound weird, and I'm not saying it's good, but I do think that is actually how certain deals work with different companies in South Korea. Yeah, Scrappy DP said that's why Twitch left Korea. Yeah, so like this is a thing. That's not completely out of nowhere. This is a thing. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know in what cases, in what situations different companies have to pay each other for whatever, but yeah, it's weird. Only works that way for overseas companies? Okay, so maybe it doesn't in this case. I don't know. All I'm saying is that part is not like that odd. But yeah, infecting 600,000 computers with malware because you don't like that they're torrenting is not an appropriate response.
I just can't believe how angry people are in the chat about the photographer discussion.
What are they angry about?
Oh, all kinds of things. You know, chat things. The crew's new crew wants to build their own servers. A group of 5 modders has begun building their own servers in order to make the crew playable once more, after the game's official servers were shut down by Ubisoft earlier this year. The crew had solo play, but all game modes nonetheless required a server connection. The mod team points to this capacity for solo play as an important difference between the crew and many other games that died with the closing of their servers. The game likewise had the unusual feature of allowing players to drive across a contiguous open-world scale model of the entire continental US. According to Whammy 4, a member of the Crew Revival Project, if the industry's trend toward artificial online requirements continues, then in a decade we'll have tons of unplayable, dead games that people once loved and played. The Crew's community should absolutely not let Ubisoft keep getting away with such horrendous practices, otherwise it will just keep happening to more and more games, including the Crew's sequels, and history will just keep repeating itself. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks, Whammy 4. Our discussion question here is, what would it mean if communities building their own servers became the standard response to these kinds of shutdowns? How do you think game companies would respond? I don't know. On the one hand, you know, I look at it and I go, like, surely they wouldn't be, like, if people are just going to do all of the work on their own, surely they wouldn't be stupid enough to go and stomp on these people. But then on the other hand,
it's happened.
Yeah, and there's legitimate potential liability for people firing up this game that they licensed from the game developer, because technically it's a license. firing up this game that they licensed from the game developer and potentially something malicious happening, because we're seeing good groups work to, put servers back up to help people play these always online games, but nothing would prevent a malicious group from doing something like that, or a bad actor from interfering with the work of a good group. Driving games are really complicated just because anything, I don't know if the crew had licensed car models and stuff like that, but that can be a big problem. That can be very challenging. Licensed music can be a big challenge. It almost
certainly has licensed music in it.
And there can be an obligation for the game developer to go after. Like that can be something they're contractually obligated to do. I think and remember, we're not just talking about the crew in particular right now. We're talking about this more broadly. Will this trend of user groups putting servers online in order to keep these games alive continue? I doubt it will be feasible. If this is not something that is baked into the plan for the game, I don't see it being something that can happen.
It's a ton of work. So you can't expect it to happen, right? People aren't being compensated for this. You can't expect it to happen every time. And if this was expected to happen for every game every time, it's too much work. You're leaning on the community too hard. It's unreasonable. Do you want to keep talking about the photos thing? Because someone linked an article from F-Stoppers. How to explain why you don't provide your raw photos.
No, I'm bored of it.
Points. Okay.
Yeah.
It's basically everything that's already been said.
Yeah, and I don't know. Someone made a particularly asinine comparison to, it's like if you license software and expect to get the source code. No, it isn't. It's like if you hire a contract developer to do a job for you and you expect to get the source code. You're literally hiring them to do the work.
There's also one of the points in here is you already have an agreement for a set number of images. If they're asking for it after the fact.
Sure. By all means, say no.
Yeah. All he was saying was, I would like an option to have a different contract that I potentially pay more for where I can get them.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the argument.
Well, this feels a lot like the articles that we saw criticizing our videos on Apple's refusal to repair our iMac, where they would glom onto something I never said and say, you expected warranty coverage for it and Apple wouldn't, of course, do that. And guys, go look.
They wanted to pay to be able to get it done.
Legitimate supposed news organizations had that take on it. That never happened.
Yeah.
I wanted to pay Apple to repair my computer I bought from them. That's not an unreasonable take.
If your agreement is that this person is getting edited photos, you're getting 4 edited photos out of this, and then they ask for the RAWs and you say no, of course. Your agreement was for 4 edited photos, not RAWs. He's talking about something completely different. /S. I think I know what one you just read.
Anyway.
He said /S.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It's just...
Okay.
Pyro Pinky asks, would you allow a sponsor to request all raw files from the shoot? No, I wouldn't. But the shoot is of me. That's a big difference. If I was working as a gun for hire, right? And if I was shooting like a corporate video for them to make something, and I'm just in there, shooting interview footage of their executives, for example, then they would expect to have the raw footage so that it can be edited in the manner they deem best, and I would expect to provide it. Yeah. These are not parallel, right, guys? These are not parallels. We're supposed to do 3 more merch messages now, apparently. Hit me, Dan.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you can go whatever order you like. Let's see. My friend Joe teaches kids at the Boys and Girls Club. Recently, he let the kids tear down a dead Alienware laptop. Do y'all have any other activities around 5th grade students would like?
That's super cool.
That's very cool.
Man, 5th grade. 5th grade activities. So so these kids are 11, 10 to 11.
Is it based around computer hardware? Because they mentioned the laptop thing? Because Scratch is cool, and I think 11-year-old is around, Scratch is probably a good idea.
I mean, I know that this is sort of the same thing, but also isn't. Older LCD monitors are super cool because you can actually see the different layers. Like you can see the polarization layer. Like you can actually like take it out and
hold them up and twist them.
And you could talk about what it's doing and light and stuff like that.
This might be tough. They would need to help the kids with this. But if you did that experiment where you take the polarization layer off the monitor and then you make like glasses out of it so that the monitor looks white, but if you're wearing the glasses, you can see what's on the monitor, that would probably be like a very mind expanding.
That would blow the kids' minds. That's sick.
Yeah.
Great idea.
That'd be cool.
You
might be able to do the process of removing the layer yourself, but then just like place it on it so that you can still see properly, but then tell them that you already removed it and then peel it off and then make the glasses with them. Because the process of removing it is a lot harder. Might be a little above.
What else would be kind of cool to kind of dissect? I mean, I don't want to recommend, taking apart anything that's super valuable anymore. So that's something that can make things a little bit challenging, but maybe if there was a way for anything you do to remain usable, like for future lessons, like I could see it being kind of cool to remember that like one-time sponsor we had, and they had those little shadow box things with all the components removed from game consoles and stuff like that. So if as a class project you kind of like made something that you could kind of hang on the wall and continue to use, then I'd feel a little less bad about sort of just like taking something apart like that.
Yeah.
Trying to think of something other than disassembling stuff. I mean, 10, 11-year-olds are sort of getting reasonably competent, but I wouldn't expect any electronic device to survive their treatment with tools around either. So taking things apart is probably your best bet. Definitely not power supplies. Don't take apart any power supplies.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, because like my high school teacher, Mr. Traddle, did a super cool thing. High school computers teacher, to be clear, where he got us a bunch of like end of life desktops and piled them all up in a room, and we had to like tear them all apart and then figure out what pieces of hardware in that pile were known good. And like identifying even a few pieces of known good things was like super valuable, because then you could use those things to test other things that you weren't sure about. So like it started really slow because we had to try to find some stuff that worked at all. But then over time it got faster and faster. And then we built a computer lab out of what was effectively 2 computer labs worth of computers. That was incredibly satisfying. And also I would say that it increased my like pride in the school, if that makes sense. Because now there was something in the school that was like built by me, had my work in it. That's so cool. Like you would see people in the computer labs mess with the computers all the time. People would put things in the optical drive bays. People would stuff garbage in the side panels. They would do stupid, annoying things like that. And it already annoyed me because I liked the computers.
You know what made me the most?
They were computers that I built.
You know what made me the most angry about just senseless destruction of school property when I was a student? Was people being like, yeah, but the school sucks.
Yeah, it's like you're making it worse.
Why do you think it sucks?
Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Now they have to spend their extremely limited budget on fixing your garbage. But yeah, so like, I don't know. That had a lot of personal value to me for like a billion different reasons. But yeah, it was cool.
Brutal.
Okay. Do you think ignorance is bliss when it comes to tech? Because you'll be more happy if you don't know what you're missing. For example, just enjoying 30 FPS console games versus now always wanting 120 frames a second.
I think in some ways ignorance can be bliss, but in other ways it can be ignorance. Like if you're blissfully ignorant about... Oh, I don't know. Oh, okay, here's something I came across recently. Did you know that if you download your Google Photos backup en masse, all the metadata is gone? Like the shooting date, the location, all of that is stripped out. If you just select all and download it, and it just zips the whole thing up, and you just download the whole thing.
But if you download individually, it's still there?
I downloaded like 14. I'm actually not sure. I didn't try that because that would be extremely tedious. So apparently there's a workaround. But if you just do it the way that any normie user would do it. All the metadata gets stripped out of everything. And it's one of those things that I look at, I just go like, why? Like, why? Why?
I also think that knowing things like having experienced 120 FPS with a proper monitor and stuff like that is great. Doesn't mean that you have to be pained when you don't have it. Understand, like I think you can hold both of those ideas in your head. I don't know. You can understand that it's like a worse experience, but I think being okay with what you have, but knowing that there's more is a state that you can be in. I don't think it's impossible. As someone who's quite cheap, it's quite possible.
Apparently, Google Takeout works, but saves the metadata in a separate JSON file.
Oh, that's annoying.
And then you have to use a tool to merge it back in. And so, yeah, I came across that workflow and I was like, well, that's something for me to figure out another day.
Yep.
But I just also would have found it super cool if they just didn't do that. And that would have been better for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an optimization reason that they do that, but if it's as simple as, merging that JSON file with or the entries in that database file with all of the various individual files, then I really wish they would just do that for me when I download it, because it's just moving text around, so it probably isn't that demanding compared to all the like AI crap that they're doing these days. Quick, someone tell the EU. Oh yeah, didn't the EU do something interesting this week?
I don't think they'd be able to do anything about that. It's not like they're not giving you the data. It's just not in a super easy format.
Yeah,
I don't think they would act on it.
I don't know. They had an uncommon L a little while ago, and then I thought they had a couple W's this week, but I don't see it in the doc, so I can't remember. I really did think they did something. All right. Oh, Dan, is that right? Are we supposed to do another merch message?
I think that was 2. We can do one more.
All right, hit me with one more.
A local Australian major TV channel had their YouTube channel taken over like yours did. Any follow-up on how YouTube is working to protect channels like yours?
Honestly, no. I haven't heard boo, and I can see that it's obviously still happening. I mean, we have definitely, talked about phishing and the dangers around it here, but the reality of it is that social engineering is the most effective way to penetrate an organization.
Oh yeah.
And
like Google can't solve your browser session getting hijacked.
Yeah.
Especially, if you're not using their own browser, but that's not an advertisement for using Chrome. I've been using Firefox lately. Random little sidebar thing. And it's been okay. It hasn't been perfect, but I'm happy to just not be on Chrome, so it works. I still use Chrome for work stuff, and then I use Firefox for personal stuff.
Why are you lying to us?
I wanted to join the 70% of Flockly users using Firefox, which is now obviously truth.
Yeah.
They were never lying. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was wrong when I used Chrome.
All right.
I'm no longer ever wrong because I use Firefox.
Let's talk about the continued attitude shift over at Apple that I've been observing now that they're finally under some regulatory scrutiny.
Yeah.
They're adding RCS support, which I think we've talked about. It is currently live for iOS 18 Beta 2 users. The feature can be toggled on or off, but it is on by default, allowing Android and iPhone users to send each other high-quality media, start group chats, and see typing indicators and read receipts. However, Android users will still have green bubbles. I will be interested to see how long a culture of green bubble lasts now that it really doesn't matter at all unless you want to use sort of features that I don't think anyone cares about that are Apple exclusive.
What I've seen on the internet so far is people being better about it.
Cool.
Like, oh, this is cool. We can finally communicate together properly because for some reason we still use text messaging.
Apple likewise published a white paper this week with the title of Longevity by Design, where it announced that its self-service diagnostic tool is now available in 32 European countries, and that both its True Tone color balancing screen feature and battery statistics will soon be available with third-party parts. Apple likewise says that used Apple parts will be as easy to transfer between devices as it is to install a new part for select devices sometime later this year. Further, users will be able to order parts for most repairs from Apple's self-service repair program without a device serial number. Apple further stated that beyond repairability, it is even more important to provide durable, reliable products that won't need substantial repairs to begin with. Okay, hold on. I don't really see how that last bit sort of fits in with any of this.
No, I completely disagree.
But the point is that this small amount of progress should not be ignored. It is good that they are making progress, but it also isn't enough. Most of this stuff should never have happened in the first place, serial number pairing and all of that nonsense. And if Apple is so worried, I mean, I saw this image they published a little while back of like a burned up third-party battery. If Apple's so worried about that, there's an easy solution, Apple. Sell a first-party battery at a reasonable price to anyone who wants one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's wild. I'm, without having read through all this myself, I am extremely sus because it seems like every time Apple does something like this, there's like weird loopholes that make it horrible anyways. And also, the longevity by design thing just pisses me off. That drives me insane. That's the most like doublespeak BS crap. It just immediately makes me angry because like a lot of these problems are caused by them.
Yes, 100%.
And if I just full believe that all of this is good and there is no loopholes and there's no actual bad things attached to it, which is extremely questionable.
Then you're an idiot.
But if I do believe that, it's just like a couple steps forward compared to the few miles backwards that they've taken making repairability so bad. So like, what are you talking about? You don't get to say longevity by design until you actually properly embrace that, and they haven't yet. So that drives me nuts. But anyways, also Apple further stated that beyond repairability, it is even more important to provide durable, reliable products.
I said that part.
know.
Yeah,
that won't need sustainable repairs to begin with. Shut up. What a stupid statement. Like, yeah, it's great that you're going to make durable stuff that won't need to be repaired. That's fantastic. Except stuff is still going to break, and it should be highly repairable when it does.
And to be clear, like I'll give Apple credit whenever they do something good. The length of time that they provide software support for their products has put significant pressure on their competitors to match or try to beat it. Like the reason that we are getting Pixels with, 7 years or 8 years or something of software updates now?
Well, maybe.
I promise you, the only reason Google even entertained the idea is because of Apple.
We'll see in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, we'll see if you even want to use it in 7 or 8 years. I mean, my Note 9 is going on 5, I guess, or 5 or 6, and it's pretty rough.
Have you replaced the battery?
It's getting pretty bad. I haven't, but
is
the battery
main problem the battery?
Not the main problem. It's just really slow. Installing apps is like painful now. It takes a really long time.
Did it take that long when you first started, though?
No, but apps were smaller.
I do wonder how much of this stuff is artificial, but it's really hard to prove. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's impossible to prove. And I don't know if I'm convinced. I don't think my conspiracy theory hat goes that big.
Well, they did the battery thing for iPhones, right? They slowed your phone down to save the battery.
Yes. But eventually they backed down on that. I think it's transparent.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind that as an option.
Yep.
Sure. 100%. I like the idea of there being an option to save my battery by slowing it down, for sure. I just don't like it being forced. Anyways, should we talk about a cool thing?
Yeah, let's talk about something cool.
Labs scanned a processor. Labs has used the CT scanner to take a look inside of a delidded 13900K processor. Lucas did a 45-minute scan followed by an 8-hour scan for additional detail. Though the two scans wound up achieving similar results, the scans allow us to see the inner structure of the chip and the connections through it, and these are super cool, man.
That CT scanner is so awesome.
It's so cool. Also, you can see these scans for different products on the Labs website.
Whoa!
Wow.
Can I?
That's like, if that was in desktop background format, that's a thing that I would have had as a desktop background back when I did that.
Oh yeah, 100%, man.
It's so sick.
Okay, that's super cool.
Wow.
I am surprised that we can get this level of detail, to be honest with you. Here's the vias.
So neat.
That's super cool. Chip structure slice.
Even if I don't fully understand what's going on.
Hold on, no. There's
She do
an
look
alternate
pretty.
view where they show us exactly what we're looking at. So here we can compare and contrast our own scan with Intel's own
Oh,
die
that's
shot.
awesome, actually.
Yeah, buddy.
So
Very
the
cool.
iGPUs on the right-hand side.
Hold on. Yeah, okay, so here's this. But ours is the other way around. So you can see these P cores
got it.
correspond to these, right?
Yeah.
So here's our E core clusters, 1, 2, 3, 4 in each of them. See, there you go. And then here's the iGPU over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the uncore, the part that is not core, your QPI links and the like. I'm sorry, I said QPI links. I don't know if they don't still use QPI, but that was when the term uncore first was popularized by Intel to describe the non-compute parts of the core. That would be where your memory controller would be and stuff like that, though. It's anything that's not compute or cache.
Such a cool look at how complicated those things are. Okay, what else do we have? I feel like we blew through a lot of the topics today.
Yeah.
We've got some announcements.
Well, the Internet Archive lost in court.
Okay, yep, all right. The Internet Archive loses in court. Paramount deletes 2 decades of web
Yeah,
history.
this is like two things combined.
Yeah. A district judge has ruled in favor of a group of major book publishers in their copyright lawsuit against the Internet Archive over whether or not the archive's digital lending program falls under fair use, because the archive likes to look at itself as a library. I'm adding that in. While the Internet Archive says that it plans to appeal the decision, around 500,000 ebooks have been delisted from the Open Library project in the meantime. If the ruling stands, this could be a devastating precedent for many American libraries whose digital lending programs depend on the same interpretation of U.S. copyright law pioneered by the Internet Archive. Controlled Digital Lending, or CDL, argues that libraries should be allowed to digitize physical books that they have lawfully purchased and to lend out DRM-protected digital copies in direct proportion to the physical copies that they have in storage. This is one way that libraries skirt restrictive and prohibitively expensive digital licenses. However, the Internet Archive's lawyers seemed optimistic about the appeal, and it is typically the lower courts who make decisions about the facts of the case, while the upper courts make decisions about the interpretation of the law and the need to ensure that it serves the public interest. In other notable losses of public information access, Paramount Global has deleted several websites, including
Comedy Central.
They deleted Comedy Central's website?
That doesn't seem right.
No. What?
No, the website is still...
What?
Wait. Hold on a second. Yeah. Keep watching. Learn more. You just... Yeah. Well...
Whoa.
Watch
Wait,
now on
this
Paramount
is
Plus.
Comedy Central. Though.
Yeah, but everything just redirects you to Paramount Plus.
Huh.
On Pluto TV, it redirects you to... Yeah, this just...
Some other thing.
It just redirects you somewhere else.
So the whole website is just redirects now. Whoa.
Well, also... Yeah,
Also that.
it was never available in Canada
Get
anyway.
wrecked. So they've deleted, I'm going to say in quotes, because they're probably all just redirects, not technically deleted, but effectively deleted. Comedy Central, CMT, Paramount Network, TV Land, MTV, MTV News. MTV News, while defunct, had a useful archive of over 2 decades of journalism. Paramount stated, as part of broader website changes across Paramount, we have introduced more streamlined versions of our sites, driving fans to Paramount Plus to watch their favorite shows. Paramount Plus has only the 2 most recent seasons of The Daily Show, while The Daily Show YouTube only goes back to 2016.
So basically, there's a lot of content that's just...
So there's a ton of content removal along with the site consolidation. I feel like if it was just the site consolidation, people wouldn't mind that much.
Yeah, this is brutal.
Also, I feel like a significantly easier way to do this is just make it so that every single one of those websites
requires a Paramount Plus subscription.
Yeah, just has the same login. Just have the same login and payment process and just let you go to whatever website you want. And you could have like a little thing like Reddit does if you view it in a browser. You could have a little thing that's like, you could just access all your content if you went to the Paramount Plus actual website, but it is what it is.
Trick Killa says, I remember when Comedy Central used to just let you stream all the South Park episodes for free. I could be wrong about this, so you guys will have to jump in, but my understanding is that was actually down to Trey Parker and Matt Stone's negotiation with them. I believe that was a requirement on their side for the contract. So let me know, guys. That's what I recall, but I don't know that 100%.
Wild.
Seems
like a strange move.
I'm reminded of when Phil DeFranco removed all his old videos. Do you remember that? We talked about it on WAN Show, and it just...
I feel less like that. That feels to me more like an individual removing their own content.
Yes, but I guess the reason I'm reminded is that we think of things on the internet as having permanence, but they absolutely do not.
Super don't.
And as hosting costs continue to grow, in some ways they are still shrinking at a very Moore's Law-esque rate. But in other ways,
sites are going down. We have lost an insane amount of like Web 1, Web 2 type of websites and content.
Tons of them, because
forever gone.
Even though the costs have gone down, the ability to monetize that content has also gone down. You can't monetize a simple text page with a simple banner ad anymore. So now that even though the hosting cost goes down, if that banner ad pays 0, then eventually that page is going to be taken down. It's not sustainable anymore. And in the case of Phil DeFranco, my assumption is that it's just because some of his old content would have been embarrassing for him at this point with the image that he's created for himself now.
Sure.
But the reason that I thought about it was this sort of removal of all of this old media, and B, I was looking for an example of like a cringe, like dark times thumbnail to refer to back when the main YouTubers were just basically putting giant boobies in all of their thumbnails in order to get people to click on them, because YouTube had no systems in place to disincentivize that behavior. And I was like, oh yeah, Phil DeFranco used to do that back in the day. And I went looking for it, and I was like, oh yeah, he like removed all his old videos. Yeah. And not only was I not able to find anything on YouTube, I wasn't able to find any screenshot of any of his old thumbnails. So I ended up going with Peter Chow instead.
What was that website, like Picture Bucket or something?
Photobucket? Yeah.
Photobucket, like, they might still be around, but a lot of their old hosting is gone. Like if you go through old forums and people link to, so Photobucket's still around, sure, but you have to like pay for it now and stuff. I think there might have been free hosting through Photobucket back in the day, and
apparently he removed them because all the content belonged to whoever owned his channel before. It was a stipulation of buying back the channel.
That makes sense.
That's brutal. That
sucks.
Such garbage.
Yeah. Photobucket destroyed so many forum tutorials. Yeah, but like, I mean,
so true.
It just is what the video is, or what the internet is. Someone linked. Sorry, I'd lost who linked it because it was so long ago that you linked it. I apologize, but someone linked PcCables.com, and this website's awesome. This is not. I don't know if the cables are good or anything. Like I've known nothing about this. I never used it, but clearly up to date. And
online 1996.
It's very straightforward and easy. That's like the fastest shopping experience ever.
It looks like an order form.
It sure does.
Yep.
That's true.
Perfect.
If you're just buying some cables, then sweet. Yeah. Yeah, the pictures are great. That's what I need to know. These are the ends. Thank you. That's it. Yep. Like, I'm assuming these are mostly just lengths. Yep. Sweet. Length, price, views. That's interesting. Either way. Cool site.
Funk FPV included our magnetic cable management as part of a roundup of magnetic organization tools. He specifically talked about how well they work for his purposes as a mechanic and creator. This is super cool.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know this guy. I've seen a bunch of his shorts. Nice.
That's super cool. Here, let's have a look. So he apparently talks about them here. You guys, oh wow, you got the big one. You guys are gonna have to go check out the video if you want to get his full thoughts. I'm not gonna.
Oh, is he like checking?
Oh wow, this is
cool.
like detailed, dude.
Yeah. Jump to, whenever you are done looking at that bit, jump to like 9 minutes.
Oh man, he brought out the force meter.
Yeah.
Let's see how much force Luke can use.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No.
Me?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, it's just the force. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I see.
Nice. This is awesome.
That's cool.
Wow, what a detailed video.
What is he doing here?
That's something else. That's someone else's product.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, yeah. Cool. Love it, guys. Go check it out. I am amazed to see someone spend that long talking about magnetic cable management products, but that's kind of the beauty of YouTube, right? Like, that's so cool that people can get that far into the weeds on something that, you know, might only matter to 19,000 other people, but matters a lot. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He apparently plans to use the extra large arches to keep his extension cord and jumper cables in his truck in place so they don't get buried and lost. He found that the magnetic power bar keys are also very useful for battery chargers for tools. Yes, that's something we didn't talk about at all.
Never thought about that.
I was thinking network switches, routers, power bars, but no, there's all kinds of things that have those little keyhole shapes on the back of them, and you can use our magnetic things to just mount them anywhere you want.
The IT team recently moved within the office, and somebody did a very cool solution with the power bar on that middle desk stand. How it's completely removable and you can move it around and do whatever you need, and then you can put it back where it was, and it's on top of the desk. It's nice. So you have like plugs on the desk where you would often want to use them if you're testing something at that desk, but then you can also just pick up the power bar and move it somewhere else temporarily if you need it, which is nice.
Oh yeah, love that.
It's cool.
He found that our magnets were very strong, hitting about 27 pounds for the extra large arches and 9 pounds for the small arches when pulled upward.
I thought it showed kilograms.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone converted them. In other news, go watch this video. I want you guys to watch his video.
Do that. Yeah.
In other news, we are hosting a garage sale next Saturday, July 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the LTT Labs building. There will be 400 plus items, good Lord. A variety of keyboards, mice, headsets, speakers, and some computer components. LTTstore.com items will not be available for purchase. You must find street parking somewhere or take transit or something. There will not be parking in the parking lot, and it is credit and debit only. All right. Should we switch to WAN Show After Dark?
Yes.
Let's do it. Dan, you've got a button for it now, right?
I do.
All right, hit us. Set the mood. Do not fly to Canada for this garage sale. It will not be worth it. And maybe find a merch message for Luke real quick. I drank this whole water bottle. One second.
Yeah, I've got one for Luke here somewhere. I do specifically remember a couple. Sure, let's go with this one. Hey, LDL, buying gift cards until I have enough for a backpack.
Nice.
Luke, if you could keep any type of bird as a pet, what bird would it be, and why is it an owl?
It'd probably still be a budgie. The main downsides of budgies, in my opinion, is that they're like incredibly fragile and scared of everything all the time. So if you get 2 of them, which I would recommend if you're not full-time work from home, because they are flock animals, pack animals, whatever, I don't know. So they need something to bond with, and if nobody's home and they're by themselves, that's sad and Just very sad, I would say. So if you're going to be away from home a lot, then you should get another one. But if you get another one, they won't bond with you directly as much, which will result in it being much more difficult for them to get used to like your hands and you. Like they might be very obviously happier when you are there. Happy with your presence, happy when you talk to them, all of those types of things. But they're going to be more, interested in their buddy. If you have only one in your full-time work from home, they'll be more interested in landing on your hands, landing on your shoulder, doing all that type of stuff. But they're absolutely flock animals. So in my opinion, you shouldn't get one, work out of your house, and not have another one. You should have two if you're not going to be there basically all the time. And the big downside is that they're so fragile. They're like on the line of dying all the time. They weigh 30 grams. They're almost entirely, like humans are mostly made of water. They're almost entirely made of air. Pollutants in the air can take them out really quickly. They don't have the like mass to deal with anything long term. So it's like scary that way. But
oh God, they talked to him about birds.
Big birds have enormous, slimy, gross poops. And if you're going to have a flying animal, in my opinion, you should probably let it fly around. So its poop should probably be very easy to deal with.
So not an owl. You just want budgies.
Pretty much.
An owl?
Someone said, why not an owl, basically. I don't know a ton about owls in particular, but yeah. They probably match my preferred sleep schedule better.
Nice.
Let's see. We already got that one. Here's a fun one. What's keeping you from moving LTT to Taiwan? I know you've got this before.
I have family
think.
Here. I have a whole team of people who work here. Honestly,
you have a cult of people that work here.
There are
we'd come with.
There are things that I would probably like
solution solved.
Better about it. One of the major criticisms that we get is around the sloppiness of our work sometimes. So we had a thread on Reddit recently about how we had M.2 sizes. So 2230, 2260, 2280.
Right, I saw this.
Labeled megahertz in just a chart. It didn't really interfere with the meaning of the video. It wouldn't have misled anyone into purchasing the wrong product in any way or anything like that. But it could have been confusing, and it could have, and it certainly was sloppy. And one of the things that I was thinking about as I was over in Taipei, just like walking around during Computex this year, is if we had done what Luke asked, and if we had just, been like, forget it, let's just, run the company out of Taiwan now, finding a video editor who is a super techie would probably be easier.
A lot easier.
Right? Like there's challenges that are just inherent to scaling beyond just people who live and breathe tech, because this might surprise you, but the person who spends their life mastering video editing, or the person who spends their life mastering cinematography, or the person who spends their life mastering accounting didn't necessarily spend their life mastering PC hardware.
They might have, but probably not.
But they might not have. And I would say that, one single person can only reasonably be expected to be deeply knowledgeable about a handful of subjects. Probably somewhere between 3 and 8 is probably the most subjects that a single person could really have any level of mastery
Expertise
of.
or mastery,
Yeah. And so I would say that in a more tech-focused culture, it might be more likely that we would find people that have the overlapping masteries that we happen to need here.
And not 100%, but more likely.
And so as you grow as a company, you hire people who have masteries that are absolutely valuable and respectable, but are not necessarily PCB layout, And it's been a major growing pain for us, and it's something that there might be ways around, like I don't know, Yeah, sure. Like being located in somewhere like Taiwan, where there's just a ton of really, really tech-centric people. With that said, I think that it's fair to say that we'd probably have more spelling and punctuation errors in our videos at that point if we have people whose mastery, whose first language mastery wasn't English, right? So there's no silver bullet for anything like when it comes to growing a company. I mean, I think Jim Keller said it really well when he said that you could have a team of 10 geniuses. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said you could have a team of 10 geniuses, 100 above average performers, and by the time you get to 1,000 people, it's like a law of the universe that everyone's going to be like kind of mediocre. And I think that that's just something that we've kind of come up against, and that it's really easy to build a team that's all just like hyper focused on one thing, and it's really hard to develop a broader set of capabilities as a company while maintaining that hyper focus, because of course you can't, because all those people know and do other things, right?
Yeah.
I forget what the question was.
What's stopping you from moving to Taiwan?
Oh yeah. Our team is here. For better or for worse, I am probably too.
We're too established now.
Yeah. And
originally it was family. Now it's probably family, and we're too established now.
I probably worry too much about that sort of thing, though. A lot of companies just move if there's like a tax advantage. I don't really like to disrupt people's lives. We've been looking
Let's
at
do
other.
it.
Luke, there's not enough money in it for the shareholders.
It's not all just you.
Let's do it.
The shareholders would save money, Dan. The shareholders are super down.
Incredible amounts of money.
Yeah, it definitely isn't to do with that.
Yeah, but it's not enough money.
I also have family here. A lot of the team has family here. We're pretty rooted at this point. And if we were going to move, we'd go to Seattle, Washington. I've talked about this. Or Seattle, Washington. We'd go to Vancouver, Washington. We've already talked about this.
That is quite the move.
Oh, that's like...
to be clear, I don't mean as in it's far. It's just like that's a very tactical move.
Oh, yeah.
Vancouver, Washington would be a sick place
that
to
would
have
be
the
killer.
Company. Yeah.
Yep. Vancouver, Washington, no state income tax, and you cross-border shop in Oregon where there's no sales tax.
And you're right next to Seattle, which is like a huge tech hub.
Yeah.
You have quick access to the Seattle Convention Center. If you were trying to run a convention and, wanted the country or province that you're in, or in this case, state, to support you in any way, shape, or form, that would have been really cool. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like a good place.
Washington also has a Vancouver. It turns out that particular dead white guy hung around like the whole Pacific Northwest. Imagine that, being like, that influential, that you have a city in like 2 separate countries named after you.
Goals. Hey, DLO, my 8-year-old son.
Once we call it as like Mars, it's just all these cities called Dan.
Oh god, this one's called Dan, and then we drive for an hour, and I'm gonna call this one Dan too.
I'm going to Dan. Which Dan?
The one with his no sales tax.
Let's be real. Every Dan would have no tax.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why everybody likes living in the Dans, dude.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Hey, DLO, my 8-year-old son has been playing first-person shooter games and likes to 1v1 me. I don't go easy on him to teach him and set expectations of the real world. What is your opinion on this? Do you go easy on your kids?
I would never go easy on my kids.
I have strong opinions on this.
I would maybe let them make it interesting, but I would never allow them to win, if that makes sense.
I wouldn't even, but I think you could put like artificial limitations on yourself.
Is this like Mario Kart again?
Basically.
Yeah, crushing that little girl.
Yeah. A good life lesson. You know what? I've changed my stance. I don't feel bad anymore.
Good.
Get wrecked. No, I still
Skill
feel
issue.
Because it wasn't like, I don't know, I don't know that person, so there's no value of it to me. But one thing, you got to prepare yourself, because eventually they're going to win. And you have to be ready for that. That's an important part of this whole process.
Oh yeah, my son's legit beat me at games at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And like
It's rough.
I would also heavily encourage you to play co-op as well. Because you're not just against each other, right? But so like the 1v1s should be like motivating to get better, basically. And then the co-op should be like, yo, we're on the same team.
Like, and to be clear, maybe I just care less about video games, but in badminton with my son,
I'm approaching this as like,
I won't let him have the point he didn't earn.
yeah,
Not one.
I'm not necessarily approaching this just as video games. I'm like any form of competition, I guess.
Yeah, I think the last time I played him, he got like 5 points.
Yeah,
And like, I don't care.
those are 5.
Good, get 6 next time.
Earned points.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to be that way.
No, you do. Strive for improvement. Life is a competition.
Get good.
You don't just have to get better. You have to get betterer than the rate at which I'm getting better. Otherwise, you're not really better.
Honestly,
growth
you playing
is
at a
much
high
more
level.
important than where you
Don't
are.
hate the player, hate the game.
You playing at a high
Actually,
level
don't hate
would
the
probably
game. Love badminton. I want to play with you, my boy.
you being at a high level playing against your kid would probably get them up to your level even more.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And if you go easy on them, you're not helping.
yeah. If you want them to be good, you need to not do that. You can also help and do coaching and stuff as well, though.
Well, of course. I want him to be better.
No, I'm not.
I'm just not
talking
going to let
them.
him. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to let him think that he's any better than he is.
I bet he doesn't use sermons.
Artificially inflate that can also actually be really bad. It can really nerf like it's the whole like gifted kid thing, where like if everyone tells you that you're really good at everything, it makes it really hard to establish like good study habits. It makes it hard to establish like really trying at something before you internalize how good you are at it. Like if it makes it so that when they grow up, if they try something once and they're not amazing at it, then they're going to be super demotivated and not want to do it, instead of someone who's going to like actually pour effort into something before evaluating, which is super important. Okay.
Hey, DLL, love the show. Sorry, that one moved. Hi, WAN.DLL. Watch the Minisforum V3 unbox. Seem like the tablet I always dreamed for. A quick question, though. Can I use the keyboard with other devices so I can use it as a KVM on a server rack?
Oh, that one. Oh, I don't remember. I thought, didn't it have a proprietary interface? I feel like this question could be answered in the video. But yeah, I don't see any Bluetooth. Yeah, no. I don't see any Bluetooth pairing anything on here, and that's a little pogo pin thing. It does not appear to work. I'm just going based on what I can see here, because that also looks like an airplane mode button right there. So your guess is as good as mine right now. I have not tried that.
What experiment would you conduct if you had your own Fallout vault?
Okay, so I never played Fallout, so I'm relying on Luke here.
You haven't played any?
Dude,
Do you know the
we've
concept
talked
of the
about this
vault?
before. I didn't play games for a whole period of time.
Fallout 1 is from Fallout 1, 2, and 3 are all from before that period of time.
Wait, when did Fallout 1 come out?
Fallout 1 is quite old.
1997.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
Oh, well, in 1997, I had a Pentium 1 166
Fallout
megahertz
2
processor.
then.
Okay, Fallout 2. When did Fallout 2 come out? 1998. Okay, I still had a Pentium 166
1 year
megahertz
after. I was
processor.
really hoping it was going to be later than that.
And then Fallout 3, okay,
That was like my first year
was
university.
2008. Yeah, I was in school. So I wasted my time in Counter-Strike.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, we all know.
Yeah, no, I was gaming at that point, but I didn't get into Fallout.
Okay. Well, all the Fallout vaults have like generally horrendous experiments ran in them. I'm assuming they're not suggesting that we run a horrendous experiment. So the idea would be that there's a vault, so a sealed location where there's a bunch of people. You're going to have multiple generations of them, and you want to like change something to see how it affects the people.
Are we talking about eugenics?
You could try that if you want it. There's a whole bunch of really, really messed up ones that are actually horrifying.
Yeah, there's really terrible ones.
I think somebody did like 1 woman, 99 men, 1 man, 99 women. There was one that there was like a live Komodo dragon. they had an incredible store of, say, weapons. There's mind-altering drugs. What if we just irradiated everybody all the time? One of my favorites.
There will be ones where they really, really, really limit certain supplies.
Every year you have to kill another vault dweller, otherwise they'll kill the entire colony.
You don't have to do horrendous things.
I don't like any of this.
It could be a good one.
Okay, sure. So in my vault, it would continuously play Friday by Rebecca Black forever.
Oh, so you're just going straight to psychological torture.
You should get rid of any reference to any days of the week except for Friday, and just make them number the Friday. So it's like Friday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And you got to get down on all
Friday
of them.
1 comes after Friday 7. It just keeps coming around.
They would form a religion. What is this mythical Saturday? Saturday was coming for all of us for salvation. At the end of the vault, Saturday will open the door, and we will all be birthed into the real world.
The underground rebellion religion person. Yeah, it's Saint
Praise
Saturday.
be to cereal. You must have a full bowl is to have a full soul.
Oh,
Are
my
you
goodness.
sure you didn't run a cult at some point? You're too good at this.
I don't have practice.
Yeah.
Do we need a t-shirt for that? To have a full bowl is to have a full soul. And just a picture of a bowl of cereal. I'm sure Sarah would do it.
Yeah, probably.
If we let her make the cereal, little dino, dino O's,
Yeah.
You got her on board now.
she would do it. She would 100% do it.
Love that.
Man, I have wanted to do this visual gag forever, and we still haven't done it. We haven't had an opportunity to dish out a giant L, but I want to do like a photoshopped bowl of cereal,
And they're all L's.
and they're Cheery L's, and just take your Cheery L's. Here's a bowl of Cheery L's. I don't know. It just popped into my head at some point.
You should do it over the USB naming conventions.
That's not bad.
More.
I could wait for some streamer's downfall. I guess I missed my most recent opportunity.
It'd have to be a lowercase L. Sorry, do the next one. Get me out of here, Dan.
Sure. Hey, DLL, love the show. Linus, you recently mentioned giving the iPhone a try. Would be interested in a video for that. If you make the switch, would you, unironically, wear the Apple Watch again?
Apple Watch is super cool. I don't need any of the health tracking stuff. I don't really care about any of that. So that's a major drawback, or not a drawback. I just don't really care. I get in and out of the habit of wearing watches. I'm just kind of out of it right now. I tried this OnePlus One recently, and it was fine, I guess. I just then I forgot to put it on one day, and then I just stopped. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd consider trying it, but I also just don't. It was not something that occurred to me when I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to the iPhone. I'm gonna get an Apple Watch. I don't really care. Also, I'm apparently not going back to the iPhone yet, because I forgot that I had committed to someone to do this experiment, but I've been criticized for my takes on various phones a lot of times, because some of the things that I'll criticize are just stock Android things. And because I'm so used to Samsung, so people are like, you're not really an Android guy, you're a Samsung guy. And I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, maybe that's true. So internally, we talked about this, and the next phone that I'll be using is actually a Pixel 8 unlocked, running AOSP.
Oh.
And the title's going to be, Do I Just Plain Hate Android?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's my next phone. And it turns out, so far, I really do. It's kind of a piece of shit. The modifications that the OEMs used to make back in the day made everything worse. And now I think it's pretty clear that AOSP has not kept up.
No.
There's a I think we talked about this maybe even last week. I'm not in the market for a new phone right now. My phone is way too new for me to be in the market for a new phone. Next time it comes around, it's probably going to be Xperia versus iPhone. The stuff iPhone has been doing is killer. The ability to shoot in log is really cool. Like actually very, very cool. And then
just don't give it to your clients if they ask.
Being able to move. Well, I mean, if it's not in the original contract, then screw them.
That is true.
Yeah.
I have never argued that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, being able to move the icons, I know it probably shouldn't matter that much, but it matters to me a lot. Also, it's really weird to me. The neighbor's computer that I was fixing the printer on yesterday, it's a Mac Mini. I said this earlier in the show. It's a Mac Mini. The icons are all like, they don't have the best desktop organization. The icons are like stacked on top of each other and like partially off the screen and all this kind of, like they let you do that on desktop, but then you previously weren't even able to move them around at all on your phone. Like,
I know
what?
I know the
fact that they just kind of go wherever on the desktop is so weird.
I know,
so weird.
Anyway, so far it's terrible. I had an event for one of my children, and I wanted to take some pictures at it, and I was like, "Oh, right, I've got that Pixel. I'm gonna use the Pixel instead of my ancient Note 9." And I opened up the camera app, and it's like, "What is this? It's the worst thing I've ever seen."
So is that's not the same one that I have though, is it?
No, because I'm running AOSP.
Yeah, but like,
it's bad. No, the Pixel camera app is specific to the Pixel.
But I'm wondering, like,
you will be amazed.
I still don't know if this is conclusive on Android, though.
You will be amazed how bad it is. No, because but that's the question: is do I actually like Android, or do I like One UI? And if my criticisms of these things, whether it's on a Fairphone or it's on some other random phone, are my criticisms of these things, are they really any less valid if it's part of stock Android? If part of the job of a phone manufacturer these days is building a version of Android that doesn't suck donkey balls? So I'll make my argument in the video. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting.
No bleep on that one.
What, donkey balls?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't bleep donkey balls. I wouldn't bleep donkey ding dong either.
Huh.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's fair.
How about penis?
Okay.
You don't bleep penis. It's a medical term.
I think some people would. I wouldn't.
That's stupid.
Because I agree with you.
I mean, cock and balls I might.
Have you ever played the penis game?
The penis game.
Do you know that game? So one person like whispers it to the other person, and then the game is that the other person has to say it louder. And then you just loop back and forth until you like get in trouble because someone's yelling.
You're in the middle of the mall just screaming it.
See, did you know about it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not crazy. I'm very happy about. Thank you, Dan.
You could do it. You do it in public. You do it in school.
It starts usually in like middle school, high school.
Yeah. Lunchroom kind of.
Yeah.
Childish games.
Yes.
By middle school, I was more cultured and sophisticated than that.
I was not.
I wasn't. No,
Okay,
I wasn't. That was a lie. That was a lie.
Oh man.
Hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what else. Purchasing a house soon. Anything
Nice.
you'd recommend doing with all the drywall and flooring off, other than conduit? That's a must.
I mean, you're already ace tier if you're putting in conduit. That's
Yeah.
smart, because putting in conduit is like putting in everything. It's just unlimited future success for you.
Conduit is awesome.
Dude, I had to rerun a DisplayPort cable to one of the PCs in the LAN room downstairs, and it sucked. It took like an hour.
But you could do it.
And if I had to do it without conduit,
it wasn't contractors.
I would have had to rip off drywall, and it would have been a nightmare. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, conduit. Do it.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
I was just
do
going to say,
conduit.
I don't have any other notes. Just do that.
No, hold on. So one thing I would do is, if you've got really old thermostats, for example, I would make sure that you have a decent number of conductors running to your thermostat sites. Some of the newer thermostats require like 5 conductors, 6 conductors. I don't even know, but more than 2. Like our house just had 2 conductor, like mercury tilt thermostats. So that's one to watch out for. In ceiling and in wall speakers, now's a good time to do it if you've got the drywall off.
People are also saying acoustic paneling and soundproofing.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little bit more external to the wall, though?
Putting in better insulation.
Insulation a bit.
Yeah, putting in better insulation. It actually doesn't cost that much more than the more basic stuff. So that can be really worthwhile, especially for like, the main bedroom, for example.
I almost just yelled out penis.
Okay.
It went along with the theme. It would have been playing the game. It would have been a demonstration of what I was talking about earlier. It might have worked. But then I don't know if anyone else is still here.
I don't think she's ever said that.
Now that would be a weird relationship.
Yeah.
Just pointing.
I mean, maybe the first time if it was a
Point
surprise.
and scream. Yes, honey, I know.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Okay.
Oh, I want to make a joke so bad. I'm not gonna. Okay, moving on. Let's see. WAN.dll. Have you guys ever thought about putting the ABCs of gaming in libraries, or do I need to buy another copy and donate it to my local library?
I'll tell you what. Any library that contacts us that wants a copy, I'll send to.
Based.
Like I don't know. Sure. They can only have so many books, though. Like, do people really put board books in libraries?
I have no idea. Probably.
Sure.
Libraries are quite wide-reaching. They kind of want to be there for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Super down. Just if you work at a library, someone who works at a library, just you send an email, just requisition it, no problem. Maybe in the email include this timestamp because our team probably has no idea that I said this.
There's a thread on r/libraries from a year ago talking about organizing board books. So apparently they've got some. Cool.
You could just do it as an ebook. That'd be fine. For Linus, you recently committed to using Bigscreen beyond VR. How are you feeling about that? And would you recommend for longtime VR users?
The non-self-containedness of it kind of sucks. I think they have a new headphone strap, but I don't think I've seen it. If they've sent it to us, I haven't seen it yet, so I still need to try that. It's really cool, but my new thing that I've been trying to try recently is that wireless adapter for the Valve Index. I've spent so far a grand total of about 3.5 hours trying to get it to work, which is a bad sign. I've seen a lot of complaints about the device, but I was sort of determined to try to do it myself. And then I signed up for one of they actually have a sign-up sheet on their website for like a technical support session. So I signed up for one, but then my sister passed away and I was dealing with that instead of dealing with setting up that wireless no FIO, whatever it is. That's what it's called. And so I haven't dealt with it. But that's my new VR thing that I'm supposedly working on right now.
Sorry, I closed the tab instead of switching to it. Competent. Hey, Dan, Luke, and the short one. Have you guys heard about the CDK hack? I'm an automotive technician, and it has, in quotes, put us back to the Stone Age, and we have to write everything down.
Yeah, so CDK Global is a company that makes software for auto dealerships, as far as my understanding goes. And there's been like ransomware attacks going off on them like crazy. And yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton about it, as I often say with like hacker content. There's a bunch of creators out there, actually quite a few, that cover this stuff really well. So I would recommend going and checking one of them. But it's really interesting. It's been incredibly disruptive to that industry. I think him saying by like, it's put us back an incredible amount. We're writing things down. That does not sound like a fabrication from what I've heard. As far as I know, a lot of dealerships are going back to like very old school methods to try to make sure that they can actually keep functioning as a business. So yeah, it's been pretty intense.
A lot of people are asking, no, it wasn't Bella who was featured in the video. It was my older sister. She was by far the one that I have been closest to as an adult, and it has blown chunks. Yes.
Okay, let's see. One of the last ones I've got here. Hi, LL&D. I currently fly for a commercial airline in the States, and the CRT screens are starting to become problematic as they dim, but replacing them for LCDs isn't easy. Any similar examples in tech?
Oh man, where you can't really retrofit the new one because the form factor / power delivery just is so far off. I mean, I'd say one interesting example in tech was when we moved from like token ring, and all the old like coaxial cable just didn't work, and you basically had to rip all the cabling out of buildings in order to support new networking
That was
technology.
pretty wild.
Like that was a big deal. Like no one talks about it anymore because we're able to use all the way back to what, like Cat 3? Don't quote me on this. What's the oldest still usable category cable these days? Which ones have 4 pairs? Or, at least 2 pairs, I think, is what you have to have.
Oh, this makes more sense to me, honestly. Papadaka?
No, Cat 4 was token ring. Hold on. Cat 5. Oh no, hold on. People are saying 3. Hold on, no. I'm on Eaton's site right now. Cat 5 introduced in 1995, up to 100 megabit. IBM token ring networks. I thought token ring was coax.
I didn't know a lot about it.
Cat 3 had 4 twisted pairs.
I think token ring is just the concept, right? Because I know a token ring done with coax, but maybe you could also do it with Cat.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Redoing it was a big deal, but I wasn't a part of it, so I don't know a lot about it.
I didn't know of token ring networks being done on category cable, but
Token ring had 2
That
types
makes
of
sense.
cable.
Okay.
Saying in
Weird.
chat.
There
That
you
makes
go.
sense to me.
It's before my time. Like I wasn't really.
Me too.
I just know that the whole thing was a big deal. So category 3 is as far back as you'd have to go to still like have it be usable with an RJ45 termination, I guess.
Weird. Or like a backwards compatibility, maybe?
Interesting. Super cool.
Token ring was big with coax, but it never required it.
Got it. Okay. So there you go. Anyway, that was a big deal because you basically had to rip out, you had to like gut all the networking infrastructure in these buildings in order to bring them up to speed.
People are saying contradictory things now. I don't know. I know at least one large institution around where I grew up that had coax token ring stuff, if I remember correctly, and there was a really big deal to replace. But I don't know. I also might be remembering improperly. This is very, very much before my time.
I'm trying to think if there's something else like that, like in any situation where you'd have like a proprietary keyboard or something like that used PS2. Like you can use USB to PS2 adapters, but they're not always 100%, especially if you have like a random weirdo keyboard.
Oh, I lost it, but somebody in the chat said the biggest problem is getting them approved for that like airplane.
PCI.
I think retrofitting anything on an airplane is kind of a problem.
Anything where like a license is tied to like a PCI card or something like that, like getting a new machine that card works in can be really challenging, although that's like more down to drivers than the actual physical compatibility. I don't know, there's lots of situations where
Popodaka certification is major. No, it has to be certified for flight in the craft, and that is the main issue.
Oh, okay. Bummer.
That makes more sense to me, to be honest.
And like paying to have it certified, it's like what? So you can sell a few hundred units? Like,
yeah.
Who's going to want to do that?
Yeah. Rough.
Last one I got for you. I haven't seen much coverage of this or talk online, but anyone think the whole Snapdragon Microsoft thing might be part of their strategy for launching an Xbox handheld device?
No.
Interesting idea, but yeah, I don't think so.
No, I think this is part of their strategy for competing better in laptops right now. And anything that happens in the future,
it's like very common perception across the industry that Windows laptops are just worse.
Yep. And this is a really, really important perception for Microsoft right now to try to address.
Yeah.
And you know what's important for me? To say, hey, thanks for tuning into the WAN show. We'll see you guys again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye.
Are our mics still live?